Chapter 165. On the top of the mountain, wondering, you looked at Old Bai. Old Bai, is Han Fei's thunder heritage? Old Bai shook his head slightly. I don't know. There are thousands of spiritual veins in the boundless world. Who knows? But I'm afraid it's possible for someone to block the lightning. Wenren, you frowned. Okay, let's not talk about Han Fei for now. He is Mr. Zhang's disciple, so we can trust him. But what about Xia Xiaochan? Where did you bring her back? Will what happened just now happen again? Although our Thug Academy doesn't care about one's background or opportunities, don't forget how the Thug Academy declined back then. Old Bai sighed. My old friend's daughter asked me to take care of her. Don't think too much. Wenren, you asked, who is your old friend? Xia Xiaochan doesn't have any spiritual veins and talents at all. Old Bai said lightly, there are thousands of spiritual veins in the boundless world. How can you be sure that Han Fei has a thunder heritage? How can you be sure that Xia Xiaochan's strange power is not an opportunity? There are too many opportunities in the boundless ocean. Who knows? At the foot of the mountain, when Han Fei and Xia Xiaochan returned, they immediately heard a scream, which came from Lu Renquang. Lu Renquang leaned against the window, widening his eyes. Hey, who are you? What did you do to Han Fei? Han Fei's face was black. Quang, you're too much. Lu Renquang was stunned. Damn, why did you lose so much weight? Tell me, what happened to you? It's only been 2 hours and you've lost so much weight? Wouldn't you be thinner than me in another 2 hours? Han Fei said angrily, I'm thinner than you. Why don't you go to the top of the mountain and try being struck by lightning? Lu Renquang was taken aback. Huh? You were struck by lightning? Han Fei stretched out his hand, his thumb and index finger close, and a blue arc flickered between the two fingers. F***CK. You were really struck by lightning? Xia Xiaochan snorted coldly. How miserable. Zhang Xuanyu was dumbfounded. Huh? Is that so? Don't lie to me. Of course. I've never heard of lightning that could make people thin, and I've never heard of anyone who was struck by lightning and could still stand on this side. Luo Xiaobai said lightly. He must have been hacked. He changed his clothes. Luo Xiaobai didn't know why, but the air suddenly became quiet, because they found that not only had Han Fei's clothes changed, but so had Xia Xiaochan's. Was Xia Xiaochan also struck by lightning? At this moment, no one cared about why Han Fei lost weight, because Han Fei had said countless times that he would lose weight. He was just temporarily fat. However, now that the two of them had gone up the mountain and changed their clothes, there was something to be said. Lu Renquang swallowed. They were gone for quite a long time. Zhang Xuanyu was horrified. He raised his hand and pointed at Han Fei, trembling. You're shameless. Bang! Zhang Xuanyu flew out of the treehouse like lightning. In the next moment, the treehouse was split into two. While fleeing, Zhang Xuanyu shouted, Xia Xiaochan, I'll keep it a secret for you. I'll keep my mouth shut. Don't kill you. Luo Xiaobai suddenly realized something. I seem to have said something wrong. Lu Renquang patted his chest. It's so scary. I always feel a chill on my back. I don't know why, and I dare not ask. Zhang Xuanyu was chased across half of the school. Han Fei lay down in the treehouse, feeling shocked. Just now, Xia Xiaochan was much stronger. Why did the red light on her body feel like a kind of energy? Just like the candle dragon blood he absorbed? After a while, Han Fei stopped thinking about it. Since Xia Xiaochan and Old Bai didn't say it, it should be a secret that he couldn't tell others. Turning his head, he found that the data had changed a lot. Owner Han Fei, level greater than 23, Junior Great Fishing Master, spiritual energy greater than 66,245, 2,099, spiritual heritage level 4, low quality, upgradable, spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish, weapon, purple bamboo rod, main art, void fishing, volume 3. Water vein technique, spirit level, divine quality. Han Fei was surprised to find that his upper limit of spiritual energy had broken through the bottleneck. Previously, it was stuck at 1,899 points. He thought that he would need to break through to an intermediate great fishing master before he could continue to improve. But now, after being struck by lightning for a while, he actually broke through the bottleneck. His spiritual heritage also broke through from level 3 high quality to level 4, low quality. More importantly, the upper limit of his spiritual heritage was indeed the upper limit of his spiritual heritage. Han Fei felt full of strength, as if he had just been charged, and electric arcs could still be seen between his fingers. Han Fei suddenly sat up, leaned against the window, and shouted, "Luo Xiaobai, what's your upper limit of spiritual energy?" Luo Xiaobai glanced at Han Fei. "It's almost 1,400. What's wrong?" "Nothing." "Quang Quang, what about you?" Lu Renquang stretched out his head. "Just 1,400. What about you?" Han Fei rolled his eyes and pretended to be crazy. "Ha, I'm 1,700 now." Luo Xiaobai's face suddenly changed. How was it possible? In theory, the upper limit that a junior great fishing master can reach is 1,500. Ordinary people can't even reach 1,200. How can you be so high? Han Fei pretended to be stupid. "I was struck by lightning. Just one strike, and it's much higher. I directly hacked from 1,400 to 1,700. Lu Renquang shook his head. "Lunatic, I don't want it. That's lightning. I've never seen anyone who can't be killed by a bolt of lightning. You're the only exception." Han Fei smacked his lips. This matter couldn't be concealed. Old Bai and the others must have known what happened just now. As for Xia Xiaochan, she watched the whole process. She had been struck by lightning more than once. He had to find a way to fool her. Sure enough, after a while, Old Bai, Xiao Zhan, and Wen Rinyu came. Xiao Zhan asked directly, "Han Fei, tell me, what happened?" Han Fei replied, "I don't know. I just wanted to cultivate. As soon as I sat down, I was struck by lightning before I had time to start cultivating." Wen Rinyu chuckled. "Oh, I didn't die. That's a good thing." Han Fei complained, "Ms. Wenrun, do you want me to die so much?" Wenrun rolled her eyes at Han Fei. "Do you have any special feelings?" Han Fei replied, "My upper limit of spiritual energy has skyrocketed, and my physical strength seems to have also skyrocketed. Oh, and my spiritual heritage seems to have increased a little. Everyone." Xiao Zhan frowned. "Are you sure? It's only natural that your physical strength has greatly increased. Lightning has the magical effect of refining impurities. It's understandable that your physical strength has greatly increased since you can withstand the baptism of lightning. But your upper limit of spiritual energy and spiritual heritage." Old Bai continued, "The great increase in physical strength has greatly increased the upper limit of your physique and meridians. This is understandable. But how much has your spiritual heritage improved?" Han Fei chuckled. "It seems to have broken through from level 3, high quality, to level 4. I don't know what level 4 is exactly." Old Bai glanced at Wen Rinyu. "Bring me the spiritual heritage testing stone." After a while, Wen Rinyu brought the stone over. Under everyone's curious gaze, Han Fei put his hand on the spiritual heritage testing stone. Then a light blue light burst out. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. Old Bai muttered, "Level 4, low quality." Even Zhang Xuanyu, who was chased back, breathed a sigh of relief at this moment. This guy was struck by lightning, and an exotic spirit vein appeared. This was simply too exciting. Old Bai pondered for a moment and deliberately explained, "Maybe it's just a pure baptism of lightning. If I'm not mistaken, when the power of lightning in your body is exhausted, the enhancement of your physical strength and the increase in your upper limit of spiritual energy will also stop, and it won't last long." Xiao Zhan patted Han Fei on the shoulder. "Did you hear that? Cultivate well for the next 2 days and refine this lightning power." Han Fei grinned. "When have I not been cultivating? Never stopped, okay? What do you know? My lord, he had used up all of his top-grade spirit stones and half of his low-grade spirit stones, but he had barely managed to forge his current achievements." Only Xia Xiaochan looked at Han Fei suspiciously with disheveled hair. Was it really as simple as being struck by lightning as the principal said? Absolutely impossible. She watched as Han Fei was struck by lightning and vomited blood everywhere. But now, he was sitting here telling everyone that he was in good health. His waist didn't hurt, and his legs weren't sore. This was completely illogical. After everybody left, Han Fei secretly spent 1,000 points of spiritual energy to make a long red cloth with a bit of ruby from the sea silkworm cloth. Han Fei raised the red cloth and nodded in satisfaction. Ancient people used this to tie their hair, that's right. He shouted at the window, "Xia Xiaochan, come here." All of a sudden, 3 heads popped out of the treehouse and stared at each other. Han Fei was helpless. "It's none of your business." Xia Xiaochan mumbled, I'm not going." Han Fei said, "Then I'll go over." Han Fei jumped down from his treehouse and jumped onto Xia Xiaochan's treehouse. "Don't cut me. I have something for you." In the treehouse, when Xia Xiaochan saw Han Fei come in, she glared at him fiercely. "What is it?" Han Fei waved the red cloth in his hand and said, "Turn your head." Xia Xiaochan. Han Fei said, "Turn around." When Xia Xiaochan turned her head, Han Fei stroked her hair with one hand and said, "This is the hair tie I just made for you. It's also called a red ribbon. It's definitely better than your previous one." Xia Xiaochan gritted her teeth, holding a knife in her hand, wondering if she should cut him. Should she cut him? What if she couldn't cut him? If she couldn't cut him, should she just give up? In the end, Xia Xiaochan didn't cut him. After tying the hair tie, Han Fei tied a large bow. At this time, Han Fei said faintly, "Well, don't tell them that I was struck by lightning. Well, you go and take a look at them. I'm going to cultivate." Xia Xiaochan's eyes narrowed slightly. "There's a big secret, right?" Han Fei shook his head. "No, absolutely not." A sly gleam flashed in Xia Xiaochan's eyes, and she suddenly patted Han Fei on the shoulder. "Don't worry. I'll keep it a secret for you." After Han Fei left, Xia Xiaochan thought of the scene when she was struck by lightning and couldn't help shivering. It seemed that not only she had secrets, but others also had secrets. For some reason, she was a little excited. It turned out that there was someone more miserable than me. Xia Xiaochan was suddenly in a good mood. Using the dagger as a mirror, she tilted her head and looked at the red ribbon and the bow, and her eyes lit up. The God of Fishing. If you want to talk about the God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yua Literature on WeChat to chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 166. 2 days later, Han Fei completed a round of cultivation of the 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies and was very satisfied with the increase in his upper limit of spiritual energy. Although it didn't reach 2,199, it was almost there. But this was not what made him happy. At night, when he practiced the void fishing art, he found that the 3rd level of void fishing was completely different from the 2nd level, and the effect was dozens of times higher. Even if he was not at sea, with the help of the spirit gathering formation, Han Fei could absorb nearly 8,000 points of spiritual energy from the void. This speed was terrifying. He still remembered that when he was practicing the 1st level of void fishing, it was only about 300 points of spiritual energy, and the 2nd level was only about 1,200 points. Because it was too slow, he chose to go to the barbecue stall. Now, with the help of the spirit gathering formation on the 3rd level, he could absorb 8,000 points of spiritual energy overnight. At this speed, it would only take him 3 or 4 months to accumulate 1 million points of spiritual energy. It was more than enough for his own cultivation and various combat skills. Only the deduction of the 4th level had a problem. Even if he practiced hard every night, it would take him more than 3 years to deduce 10 million points of spiritual energy. Damn it, this technique is powerful, but it consumes too much spiritual energy. It's not a problem to deduce the 4th level. But what about the 5th level? Swish! Suddenly, Han Fei felt the wind behind him, and he quickly activated a spiritual energy protective cover. Gotcha! The spiritual energy protective cover was broken, and a dagger was inserted into Han Fei's skin a little, and a little blood flowed out. Han Fei was speechless. Xia Xiaochan, it's scary to see you like this. Xia Xiaochan looked at Han Fei's wound and wondered, why has your physique become stronger again? Han Fei pretended not to know. I've finished refining my thunder power. Look, it's only been 2 days, and you can pierce my skin without any attack. It can be seen that my physique is not as strong as I thought. Xia Xiaochan chuckled. Even an advanced great fishing master can't block my supreme stab, but you blocked it with your body. Is this not as strong as you thought? Then how strong do you think I am? Han Fei waved his hand. Forget it. When you become an intermediate great fishing master, you can try again. At that time, it will be more than just piercing my skin. Xia Xiaochan still felt that Han Fei had other secrets. Why did he run to the top of the mountain to practice that day refine? Did he coincidentally get struck by lightning again? Something was definitely wrong. Xia Xiaochan raised her eyelids. Let's go to the competition. The Blue Sea Arena sent someone to inform me that they found some teams of intermediate great fishing masters, enough for us to fight for 3 days. Is the opponent very strong? Our goal is to become an advanced great fishing master. Intermediate great fishing masters are nothing to us. Blue Sea Arena. This place became popular again. Knowing that the thug legend was coming again, the tickets were sold out. Backfield. Han Fei saw many teams. When these teams saw Han Fei and the others, their eyes lit up and they couldn't wait to fight them. Luren Kuang wondered, these people seem to want to eat us. Zhang Xuanyu smiled and said, I heard that if we win, we'll get money. I'm also excited. Luo Xiaobai said, let's test the waters first. If it was difficult, he could use tactics. If it's not difficult, we'll just kill our way through. Xia Xiaochan pondered. I want to feel how strong the physique of an intermediate great fishing master is. Everyone looked at Xia Xiaochan. Recently, Xia Xiaochan had been obsessed and would stab Han Fei every now and then. Although she couldn't cut him, she never stopped stabbing him. In the auditorium, there was a sea of people and it was noisy. This time, teachers from all 3 academies came. In the first academy, several teenagers were sitting quietly in the front row. Next to them, a female teacher said, take a closer look. If they could defeat these intermediate great fishing master teams within 100 minutes, I'll arrange for you to fight them in a few days. One of the students said, I don't think it's a big problem. Among these teams, there are few perfect combinations. In terms of combat power and controllability, they're not as good as the thug legend. There's no chance of winning. Another student said, I heard that the second academy sent a team of students, all of whom are the top 1,000 masters of the 3 academies. They seem to want to measure the strength of the thug legend. A girl said, don't overestimate them. The top 1,000 masters of the Blue Sea Town are all peak-level intermediate great fishing masters. Besides, after systematic learning and tactical drills, they're more experienced than them. The female teacher said, don't be proud. The 4th Academy has been in seclusion for 30 years. This time, they won't send their students here just to fight with these intermediate great fishing masters. These intermediate great fishing masters fight together. On the other side, in the territory of the 2nd Academy, a male teacher said, it's not that I overestimate the 4th Academy, but their perfect formation is not something these intermediate great fishing masters can defeat. So, no matter what the result is, I will consider arranging for you to fight them next time. One of the students said, Teacher, do you think the 4th Academy will win? The male teacher replied, it's not that I'm optimistic about them, but I'm not optimistic about these intermediate great fishing master teams. In the arena, the host was exaggerating the atmosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, the long-lost thug legend has returned, but their opponents have also become stronger. In this competition, all teams are composed of intermediate great fishing masters. Any one of them has once dominated the Blue Sea Arena. Any one of them has fought their way out of the encirclement in the Level 2 fishery. Don't doubt that today's game can't be missed. Let's welcome the first team, the Iron Bone team. Oh, beat the thug legend. I bet on you. Beat the thug legend. You are the thug legend. In the entire arena, nearly half of the people were cheering for the Iron Bone team, because it was meaningless to bet on the thug legend now. The odds were too low, and the odds on these teams were terrifyingly high. As long as they won, the chips in everyone's hands would double. The members of the Iron Bone team roared. The captain instructed, later, the 2 hunters block that Xia Xiaochan, the armorist block the opponent's armorist, and the soul warrior should quickly kill Zhang Xuanyu, who is still a peak-level fishing master. I will block Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai first, and the soul warrior will come back quickly. At this moment, Han Fei and the other 4 walked out of the contestants' channel, and the audience cheered. Thugs, if we lose one game, we'll be rich. Lose. What a 100-game winning streak. It's so tiring. Zhang Xuanyu, I love you. Xiao Xiaochan, I like you. Damn. Han Fei, you've lost weight. Referee, there's a fake Han Fei here today. I want a thorough investigation. Many people were surprised to find that Han Fei had lost weight. He was much thinner than before and was no longer a ball. A girl shouted, Han Fei, what method did you use to lose weight? Lu Renquang's eyes were full of resentment. What a pity. Han Fei chuckled. Why don't you be struck by lightning, too? Lu Renquang scoffed. I'm not courting death. Luo Xiaobai warned. Be careful. Their captain is very strong. He's a manipulator and a soul warrior. Don't underestimate him. Xiao Xiaochan pressed her hand on the dagger. I'll go and finish him. It shouldn't be that simple. 2 hunters. They're definitely targeting you. Zhang Xuanyu was surprised. So, their captain wanted to fight 1 against 2? Deal with Han Fei and you at the same time? Did he take the wrong medicine? Luo Xiaobai said, let's try it first. Host, both sides are in position. Although it hasn't started yet, I can already feel the strong aura from both sides. Look, Iron Bone team is moving. Wow, Thug Legend is still as casual as ever. Then, let's see if the Thug Legend can continue to create a legend. The game starts. Fuse. Attach. Xiao Xiaochan immediately disappeared. Immediately after, in the right half of the field, the 2 fighters clashed in the air, and sparks flew everywhere. The opponent's armorist was the first to attack. Torrents of knives and swords. It was not a particularly profound combat skill, but the opponent knew it. Lu Renquang laughed. Interesting. Torrents of knives and swords. In an instant, it seemed that hundreds of swords and knives were intersecting in the air, and the scene was very chaotic. And the opponent's soul warrior had already rushed up, and a spear in his hand shot a cold light at Zhang Xuanyu from dozens of meters away. 7-layered waves in furious sea. Zhang Xuanyu shattered the opponent's spear light. The host shouted, Oh my god, Zhang Xuanyu has broken through to the realm of a great fishing master. This game has become very complicated. However, the captain of the Iron Bone team seems to want to fight 1 against 2. How will he deal with the attacks of Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai? Han Fei replied, I'll go and have a try. With that, Han Fei leaped out and brandished the 2 knives in his hands, as if he was going to fight in a group fight. The audience. Everyone was speechless. This was probably the most violent spirit gatherer they had ever seen. The god of fishing, if you want to talk about fishing god with more like-minded people, follow Yua Literature on WeChat. Chapter 167. Han Fei's speed was not slow. Although he knew that the captain of the Iron Bone team was a manipulator, so what? Luo Xiaobai was also a manipulator, but she couldn't control him. The captain of the Iron Bone team frowned. Insect explosion. For a moment, the ground was surging and countless beetles appeared. Soon, they covered the entire ground. Buzz, 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 Han Fei was shocked. What the F***CK is this manipulator? This is an insect master. Insect disaster. Luo Xiaobai's face changed slightly. Vine killing technique. Dozens of vines broke out of the ground and instantly turned into huge whips, slapping the ground fiercely. With each blow, a bunch of insects turned into spiritual energy fragments. But the manipulator didn't care because the moment a vine fell to the ground, it was bitten through. Luo Xiaobai's face changed slightly. Blue poisonous vine. The vines rolled on the ground. On the edge of the withered vines, a circle of spiritual insects shattered and were poisoned to death. Luo Xiaobai controlled the vines and pulled Han Fei into the air. And the opponent didn't want to be outdone. Countless insects flew up and were determined to pounce on Han Fei. Han Fei glanced at the sky, full of knives and swords not far away. Me too, Blade Storm, the magic of love. I spin in circles, round and round. Luo Xiaobai. Lu Renquang grinned. What is he singing? It's so unpleasant. Han Fei was spinning in circles in the insect disaster, but he still couldn't stop the overwhelming insects. A large number of insects were easily torn apart, but when the knife light flashed, Han Fei had been stung with insects all over his body. BM. Han Fei's body surface erupted with spiritual energy, directly shaking away the insects. The captain of the Iron Bone team shouted, "Damn, why haven't you killed Zhang Xuanyu yet?" The sole warrior of the Iron Bone team was also helpless. "I want to kill him, but this Zhang Xuanyu, who has become a great fishing master, is too strong. Only those who have experienced the seven-layered waves in Furious Sea know how terrifying it is." It was simply one wave after another. There was no chance for him to retreat at all. Fortunately, Zhang Xuanyu's realm was lower than his, and his spiritual energy was not as abundant as his. Otherwise, he didn't know how to fight at this moment. Host, wonderful, wonderful. This is a feast of blade light and sword shadows. This is a showdown between manipulators. Not long after the host shouted, a figure flew out while vomiting blood. Everyone saw that a hunter of the Iron Bone team had been defeated by Xia Xiaochan. Hiss! Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. Two intermediate great fishing masters intercepted a junior great fishing master, but one of them was defeated so quickly. How long has it been? It hadn't even been 20 breaths. Someone in the audience shouted, "It's over, it's over. Xia Xiaochan has been freed. Where are we going to win now?" Just as Xia Xiaochan killed a hunter, Han Fei's circle finally turned to the captain of the Iron Bone team. He wanted to run, but Luo Xiaobai didn't give him a chance. The vines and insects tangled together, trapping him inside. Puff, puff, puff. When Han Fei stopped spinning, he couldn't even walk steadily and felt dizzy. This skill wasn't good. If he used it for too long, he wouldn't even know where he was. Meanwhile, the captain of the Iron Bone team was lying on the ground, moaning. "It's not that I'm not strong enough. It's just that the gap between my teammates and the enemy's teammates is too big." In just a few seconds, Team Iron Bone, who had lost 2 members, announced their defeat. The battle had taken a total of 28 breaths. A large number of spectators were shouting, "Thug! Legend! Legend!" Someone mocked, betting on the Iron Bone team to win in front of the perfect combination. "I don't know what those people think." Someone complained, "Who knows that even intermediate great fishing masters can't resist the attacks of these people?" In the 3 academies, a heated discussion had begun. The first academy. "I don't think they are as strong as we thought." The Iron Bone battle team wasn't much to begin with. Other than the team leader, no one else can. No, the thug legend obviously didn't use his full strength. Look at Han Fei. If it was a life and death duel, would he be running around? And those bugs can't bite him, can they? However, it can be proved that Luo Xiaobai's strength is not as strong as imagined. His initial estimation was that she was at the peak of the intermediate level. It's impossible for him to be any stronger. The second academy. The Iron Bone battle team can't test their strength. "Teacher, should we arrange for a group of people to go up and have a fight?" The teacher shook his head. "Who should we arrange? No one below the top 1,000 should be able to defeat them, and you are at most on par with them, unless you want to fight now." "That's true. Let the third academy go. They always like to steal the limelight." The third academy. The teacher said, "Let the first and second academies fight. We won't go up." A student asked, "Teacher, shall we call the first echelon in the school?" The teacher replied, "No, I dare to bet that whoever goes up first will be the first to lose." Next, with the experience of the Iron Bone battle team and the strength comparison, the thug legend crushed them all the way. On the first day, they won 10 battles in an average time of 32 minutes. On the second day, they won 10 battles in an average time of 40 minutes. On the third day, they won 10 battles in an average time of 50 minutes. On this day, it was said that a team of advanced great fishing masters was dispatched. Han Fei and the others finally waited for a real battle. But to their surprise, as soon as they arrived at the Blue Sea Arena, they saw 5 teenagers of the same age walking towards them. "Thug Legend, do you think it's easy for you to win 50 games?" Luo Xiaobai asked. "Who are you?" The leading boy smiled. "Yang Xiao of the First Academy. Today, your first opponent will be us. We're also a perfect combination. I hope you can show your strength. If you're still the same as a few days ago, just wait to admit defeat." Zhang Xuanyu ignored this boy but said to the girl in this boy's team, "Hey girl, let's get to know each other. How about I take you to eat hot pot tonight? The girl glared at Zhang Xuanyu and snorted. If you can beat me. Xia Xiaochan rolled her eyes. Zhang Xuanyu, don't be so embarrassing, Lu Rinquang muttered. The other party seems to be very strong. The corner of Yang Zhao's mouth twitched. Are you listening to me carefully? Luo Xiaobai nodded. Okay, as you wish. A student behind Yang Xiao chuckled. Fourth Academy, just wait. Do you really think there are no opponents in the Blue Sea Arena? Han Fei looked at Xia Xiaochan. Is he provoking us? Xia Xiaochan nodded. It seems so. Let's kill him first, okay? Yang Xiao and the others backstage in the box. After reading the information in her hand, Luo Xiaobai said lightly, let's do our best in this game. Zhang Xuanyu was slightly taken aback. That's not necessary. I don't feel that they are very strong. Luo Xiaobai continued, in the first 50 games, we didn't have a perfect cooperation at all. If we continue to do that in the future, it will be meaningless for us. Xia Xiaochan waved her dagger. Okay, if we win this game, there will be more and more masters in the future. In the arena, the first academy team had already entered the field, and the people outside were shouting crazily. Because this team even temporarily named itself Thug Eliminator Team, which was very arrogant. The two teams stood on the field. Yang Xiao, Intermediate Great Fishing Master, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Electric Spirit Jellyfish, Spirit Gatherer. This chapter is edited by Handwritten Update. Hu Karen, the only girl on the other side, Junior Peak Level Great Fishing Master, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Ice Flame Tortoise, Soul Warrior. Luabai, Junior Peak Level Great Fishing Master, Armorist, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Wolf Crab. Sun Fiyu, Intermediate Great Fishing Master, Hunter, Exotic Spiritual Beast, Phantom Jellyfish. Lin Miao, Junior Great Fishing Master, Manipulator, Sea Green Vine. Note that he is an exotic vine spiritual plant, which may be tougher than the blue cannibal flower in terms of hardness. Zhang Xuanyu grinned. Is that little girl a soul warrior? Interesting. She's a bit strong. The other side also has an all-element lineup, and all of them have exotic spiritual beasts. Xia Xiaochan said proudly. There are many people with exotic spiritual beasts, but how many geniuses are there? Han Fei said decisively. Leave Yang Xiao to me. Manipulator versus manipulator. No problem, right? Han Fei glanced at Luo Xiaobai. He smiled faintly. In the first 50 games, they were just bystanders, but this time they were going to break out. Luo Xiaobai said, no problem. But if something goes wrong, I will pull you back by force. At this moment, everyone in the audience found that the thug legend seemed to have changed. They couldn't tell exactly what had changed, but they felt different. The host announced, the game starts. If you want to talk about Fishing God with more like-minded people, follow Yua Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence read too. Chapter 168. Fuse. This time, the audience was surprised to find that the thug legend did not take the initiative to attack, but stood still. Someone said, they're all geniuses. This is going to be interesting. Someone echoed, yes, their lineup is definitely not bad. Someone said, I've bet on the thug killer team. Since they dare to come, they must be prepared. Do you know that Yang Xiao? He's an exotic spiritual beast, electric spirit jellyfish. It's said that he's a genius who is expected to enter the top 100. I also know that Hu Karen. She's a cold flame tortoise. She can burst out cold flames in battle and can directly freeze people into ice cubes. In the seats of the 3 academies, next to the teacher of the first academy, there was only an indifferent boy sitting. The teacher asked, what do you think? Not good. They can't beat Yang Xiao. The 4th academy is not qualified to rise. In the crowd, He Xiaoyu and the others were also there. He Xiaoyu asked worriedly, can they win? Yang Xiao is very strong. Wang Baiyu's face was serious. Yang Xiao is ranked 907th in the 3 academies of the Blue Sea Town. He is very strong. He Xiaoyu swallowed. Hu Karen is my senior sister. I've seen her fight. She can freeze people into ice cubes. On the field, Lin Miao took the lead and pressed his hand on the ground, causing the ground to crack. Green vines swam like spiritual snakes, and in the blink of an eye, thousands of spiritual snakes broke out of the ground. The 5 opponents were entangled by the green vines, which greatly hindered their chance to escape. Luabai shouted, "Feiyu, take my knife!" The dagger in the hunter's hand shot out like lightning at Xia Xiaochan. Xia Xiaochan just tilted her head and dodged it. Xia Xiaochan snorted. Provocation? Giggle. Shadow kill. Xia Xiaochan took the lead and disappeared in the blink of an eye, and a silver ray appeared in front of Sun Feiyu in an instant. Sun Feiyu's face changed greatly. So fast. Shield. Luabai reacted quickly, and a shield immediately appeared in front of Sun Feiyu. Clang. A hole was directly pierced through the shield. Sun Feiyu blocked it with his 2 daggers and slid backward on the ground. He slid 4 or 5 meters. Xia Xiaochan disappeared in the vines, and then Lin Miao's face changed slightly. No, it's a shadow. Yes, Xia Xiaochan had completely turned into a shadow and appeared in front of Sun Feiyu. Ingren, shadows passed through from all directions, and Sun Feiyu's body was directly penetrated. Hiss so powerful, Sun Feiyu just provoked him, and now he's kneeling? Pull it back. Quang Quang, someone is using an armor box in front of you. In midair, a thin vine suddenly pulled, and Xia Xiaochan reappeared in her own half of the field. Sun Feiyu, who had just been pierced through, reappeared in midair with his illusory figure. Sun Feiyu's face darkened. He had wanted to provoke her, but he had underestimated her strength. Han Fei stepped on the ground, and a spirit-gathering array appeared, and then a pillar of spiritual energy poured into Zhang Xuanyu's body. Zhang Xuanyu grinned. "You're right, Walla." At the scene, half of the arena had the illusion of raging waves surging towards the First Academy. The audience held their breath. They had never seen any of the abilities that the thug legend used this time. Zhang Xuanyu stood at the top of the waves, the long rod in his hand piercing through the void. The instantaneous sonic boom directly exploded in the entire arena. Hu Karen looked solemn and shouted, "Cold flame frenzy." Next to her, Luabai patted his armor box, and dozens of strange scales appeared, as if he was going to help Hu Karen. Lurin Quang shouted, "Hey, do you think I don't exist? Let me show you what a real armor is." Clang, the armor box in Lurin Quang's hand smashed the ground, and a knife flew out. In the blink of an eye, it appeared more than 10 meters away from Luabai. Wherever the blade passed, the ground was cut, and the gravel rotated with the blade. However, when everyone saw this knife, the speed of the knife was already very slow, and it seemed to take half a second to fly 1 meter in the air. Lin Miao controlled the vines to attack this knife. However, before the green vines could get within half a meter of the saber, they were all shattered into pieces. The teacher of the First Academy's face suddenly changed. Bloodthirsty broadsword? This, the young man next to the teacher wondered, what knife? The teacher took a breath. An armorist's talent combat skill, which appears with his spiritual beast. When a knife is drawn, it will not return until it drinks blood. Before it drinks blood, it is invincible. At this moment, on the waves, Zhang Xuanyu's rod had already collided with Hu Karen's cold flame. To everyone's horror, the cold flame, which was said to be able to freeze people into ice cubes, was pierced in half by this rod and couldn't get close to Zhang Xuanyu at all. Sun Feiyu's face was very gloomy. "Phantom, doppelganger." Xia Xiaochan giggled. Xia Xiaochan giggled. "Doppelganger? Wait until you have the ability to use doppelganger." Shadowless blade. In the next second, the dozens of doppelgangers that Sun Feiyu created were all cut into pieces by the blade that suddenly appeared beside him before they had time to help their companions. The teacher of the First Academy was shocked. Shadowless blade, the shadowless blade that can break space? The Thug Eliminator team was a little stunned. What kind of divine combat skill is this? None of them had ever appeared before. Luo Xiaobai raised her left hand and pointed at Lin Miao. Deep blue, man-eating, the ground was shaking, petals were falling in the sky, and a huge lotus-like blue flower on the ground opened its huge mouth and swallowed Lin Miao in one bite. Yang Zhao's eyes were bloodshot. Thunderchain. Just as he shouted this, A half-arc water wall that was several meters wide and several meters thick appeared within a range of 10 meters around Yang Xiao. At this moment, this water wall was entwined with electric currents. Han Fei stepped forward step by step and stepped into the water wall, letting the electric currents flash on him. Then he stepped out of the water wall, and electric currents flashed between his fingers. Are you kidding me? Can the electric spirit jellyfish compare to the real ninth heaven thunder? And Yang Xiao, a spirit gatherer without anyone's protection, didn't even need to use any skills in front of Han Fei. BM, who Karen vomited blood but didn't fly away. She was pierced. A rod passed through her lower abdomen and nailed her to the ground. BM, BM, BM. In everyone's shocked eyes, all of Luo Bai's weapons were completely vulnerable in front of the bloodthirsty broadsword. Like a piece of paper, they were torn apart. In the end, even Luo Bai's armor box was shattered. Luo Bai was pierced and knelt on the ground. On the ground. It was unimaginable how strong this power was to have such a terrible destructive power. Sun Feiyu had countless clones, but as soon as he appeared, he was instantly cut. In just a few seconds, he was already covered in blood. He couldn't hide it all. Yang Xiao had 2 knives inserted into his shoulders at this moment. Han Fei stood in front of him with a smile. He thought that Yang Xiao, as the captain, must have special abilities, but he didn't. Han Fei's fighting passion suddenly disappeared without trace. The Blue Sea Arena, which could accommodate 50,000 people, was silent at this moment. Xia Xiaochan withdrew her knives. Sun Feiyu's figure fell from the sky, and no one came to his rescue. He fell heavily to the ground, covered in blood. Hu Karen was nailed to the ground. Luo Bai knelt on the ground, covering his wound and gasping for breath. Lin Miao had fainted. Yang Xiao lay on his back on the ground. Han Fei's hands flashed with electric arcs, but it didn't affect his movements at all. He easily pulled out his twin sabers and wiped off the blood on them. At this moment, the 5 members of the Thug Legend raised their heads and looked at the audience in the arena. Clap, 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 howl. Thugs, 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 legend, 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 invincible, invincible. The huge arena once again went crazy. Countless people screamed at the top of their lungs. All the teachers and students of the 3 academies got up, especially the teacher of the 3rd academy, who said that they wouldn't fight, had a cold sweat on his back. Fortunately, it didn't fight. Fortunately, what kind of monsters are they? Are they really 5 junior great fishing masters? These are 5 peak-level great fishing masters, right? The people of the 2nd academy all swallowed. However, then they gloated at the 1st academy. The teacher of the 1st academy clenched his fists. They were too strong as the top 100. Was the 4th academy so strong? The arrogant student of the 1st academy said solemnly, the 2nd echelon can't stop them. In the 100th game, I will fight in person. Our team members must be in the top 100, preferably the top 50. He Xiaoyu and the others were completely dumbfounded. They all swallowed. They remembered Luo Xiaobai's words and Xia Xiaochan's words. Ordinary people couldn't come in. God of Fishing, if you want to talk about God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yua Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 169. This competition shattered the confidence of countless people. The host was incoherent. Too strong, too strong. Luo Xiaobai took a step forward and looked at the place where the 3 academies were sitting. Today, the Thug Academy accepts the challenge of all teams under the level of Dangling Fisher. At the same time, we accept the challenge of all the strong teams under the level of Dangling Fisher in the entire Blue Sea Town. Fight! Han Fei also took a step forward. Whoever defeats our Thug Legend team, I will personally give each of you 10,000 mid-quality pearls. Wow! At this time, no one mentioned the name of Yang Zhao's Riot Eliminator team. Everyone who was watching this battle was excited. Their blood was boiling. Bao Jin covered his chest, his eyes horrified, and said in a hurry, "They're back, they're really back. The Legendary Academy is back." At the scene, the teams that had promised to participate in the competition all withdrew at this moment. When would they retreat if not now? Why fight? Could he win this fight? These weren't 5 kids at all. They were really 5 thugs. Wild, violent thugs who killed people like they were slaughtering fish. Could they get 10,000 mid-quality pearls? They were not fools. The intermediate great fishing master team withdrew one after another. They didn't want to fight anymore, even if they gave them money. Why did they still fight when they knew they couldn't win? But those advanced great fishing masters and even peak-level great fishing masters went crazy. They thought they could give it a try. Although they might be suspected of bullying the weak, they could get money. As a result, the registration booth was packed to the brim. Bao Jin rushed to the registration office and shouted, everyone, listen to me, form a team, and come again. If you're weak, don't sign up. We only want the strong. Do you hear me? As long as the strong. The boy from the first academy looked cold. Provocation? 10,000 mid-quality pearls per person? What a generous offer. The boy said to the teacher next to him, I'm going back to choose people. I'll fight the last game of their 100-game winning streak. In a corner of this arena, there were 3 masked guys hiding here, stealthily. Wenren Yu asked, Old Bai, aren't these little guys a bit too much? Xiao Zhan smiled. This is a manifestation of strength. If a person is strong but not known, what's the point of his strength? Loyalty? Old Bai nodded. Yes. Luo Xiao Bai and Han Fei's words stimulated too many people. They would need to be careful in the following battles. This was no longer a competition between people of the same level. This was skipping levels. In the last few games, the teams will definitely be peak-level great fishing masters. Wenren Yu asked, will it be very difficult for them to fight against peak-level great fishing masters? Xiao Zhan grinned. Not necessarily. These little fellows were very strong. I had no doubt that they would be able to kill a dangling fisher if they used their life-saving combat skills. No matter how strong a great fishing master is, there's still a huge gap between him and a dangling fisher. Old Bai continued, the top 100 teenagers should be coming out soon. The last 50 battles were the time for them to crazily gain battle experience. Xiao Zhan, when you return, tell them to control themselves and only allow them to use 70% of their strength. Unless we meet an opponent we can't handle. Xiao Zhan was surprised. 70%? Fight high-level players? Old Bai said with a smile. If you squeeze it to the extreme, the training effect will be better. The news spread throughout the Blue Sea town that the 4th Academy had risen. The 5 teenagers declared war on all the experts below the dangling fisher level in the entire Blue Sea town. He Xiaoyu walked all the way and heard people talking all the way. Wang Baiyu smiled bitterly. I used to think that Tang Gu was the #1 genius in our heavenly water village. After all, he was chosen by an angel and brought directly to the city. But now, I'm a little uncertain. Did Han Fei really become what he is today because of the resources given by Tang Gu? Xiao Wushuang sneered. Of course not. Think about it. What resources can make you so strong? How long has it been? We've been in the Blue Sea town for less than a year, and Han Fei has been in the Blue Sea town for less than 2 months, but he has already declared war on peak-level great fishing masters. He Xiaoyu suddenly took a deep breath and said, I've decided. Everyone, He Xiaoyu declared, I choose to be a hunter. Everyone, Xiangnan exclaimed, Hey, Xiaoyu, don't be irritated. Xia Xiaochan's spiritual beast is a shadow shrimp. Your little red is more suitable for a soul warrior. He Xiaoyu added, No, don't forget the speed of little red. He Xiaoyu was extremely serious. Too strong. She was the one who taught Han Fei the sweeping stick. At that time, Han Fei was beaten to a pulp by her. Now Han Fei just stood there motionless. Even if she wanted to hit him, she couldn't. How strong was Yang Zhao's electric spirit jellyfish? She knew it very well, but Han Fei just ignored it. And Zhang Xuanyu, who was terrifyingly strong. Could the soul warrior she chose be stronger than these two? He Xiaoyu thought it was impossible, but she had the talent of a hunter. Little Red, incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. Now that she thought about it, this method could make her physique stronger and make her body more agile. With Little Red, the hunter seemed to be better than the soul warrior. Today's game was suspended. The Blue Sea Arena issued an urgent notice. seeking top masters below, dangling fishers at high price. Intermediate great fishing masters were not accepted at all. They had to be at least advanced great fishing masters with exotic spiritual beasts. Fish Dragon Hot Pot Restaurant. Luren Kwong stuffed food into his mouth. Damn it, I thought she was very strong, and she asked us to fight her with all our strength? Zhang Xuanyu hesitated. Should I go to apologize to the little girl? Why does a girl want to be a soul warrior? No, no. Can anyone accompany me to the first academy later? Han Fei said contemptuously, Hey, we are fighting. Don't try to pick up girls, okay? Zhang Xuanyu shrugged. I feel guilty. Han Fei winked. Then when we win 100 consecutive victories, I will go with you. Zhang Xuanyu asked, Really? Han Fei nodded solemnly. To your happiness, cheers. Xiao Xiaochan sneered. Haha, are you going to find another girl? Luo Xiaobai asked. Han Fei, is the power of thunder ineffective on you now? Han Fei chuckled. That's not the power of thunder. You can resist it if you go. He just paralyzes your body with a momentary electric current. You just need to suppress it with spiritual energy. After a while, Li Gang personally grilled some barbecue. Li Gang praised. Young master, you're awesome today. Han Fei said proudly, You're all awesome. Yes, young masters and young ladies are all awesome. Li Gang was shocked. He had no idea that a year ago, he was still a gangster, eating sea melon seeds every day and collecting protection fees everywhere. But now, he had become the boss of the fish dragons. Luo Xiaobai said, Hurry up and eat. Go back to cultivate after eating. Han Fei and the others were eating hot pot happily, but they didn't know that in the residence of the mayor of the Blue Sea town, Old Bai was sitting here lazily. In addition to Old Bai, the presidents and deputy presidents of the other 3 academies were all here. Old Bai continued. The 4-year period is up, and the top 100 competition is about to begin again. Our Thug Academy has been silent for more than 30 years. Are we qualified to participate this time? The president of the 2nd Academy scoffed. Humph, have you participated in previous years? There were no signs of your 4th Academy at all 8 times. Now you think you can come just because you say you want to? The president of the 1st Academy asked. Old Bai, there are only 5 little guys in your academy, right? How can a 5-person academy be called an academy? Old Bai sneered. So what if there are only 5 people? Didn't the 5 of them beat your 1st academy to a pulp? Even if there's only 1 person in our Thug Academy, our Thug Academy still exists. What? Do you think we only have 5 students? Do you believe that we can defeat your 1st academy? The president of the 1st Academy asked. Defeat the 1st Academy? In their current state? Old Bai said disdainfully. In their current state, they can still win. The people from our Thug Academy have never lost, not more than 30 years ago, and not now. The president of the 2nd Academy sneered. Won't lose. Then why did you decline in the past? The geniuses of your school either died, fled, or ran away. You call this won't lose? Old Bai's face darkened. Su Qianji, are you provoking me? Believe it or not, I can beat you up even if the 3 of you come at me together. 2 old men and an old woman blushed and couldn't wait to pounce on him. Unfortunately, the 3 of them still had some self-awareness. Bai Kongyi was also a big shot in the past. Even the 3 of them plus the mayor couldn't beat this guy, let alone the 3 of them. The mayor said, All right, I agree to this. The faces of the presidents changed slightly. The mayor waved his hand. Otherwise, what do you want? Since the 4th Academy has come out, it is qualified. After all, the 4th Academy has not been abolished. If you don't give it to them, aren't you afraid that those 5 little monsters will smash your 3 academies? Su Tianji scoffed. But they have to be able to do it. Old Bai asked. You mean as long as my students can smash your academies, you will agree? Humph. God of Fishing. If you want to talk about God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yue Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence, read too. Chapter 170. As soon as the 5 of them returned to school, they saw Old Bai passing by with his hands clasped behind his back. Han Fei saw a jade slip flying towards him. He caught it in a daze, his face full of question marks. Old Bai said leisurely, Your strength is improving too slowly. If you really encounter a peak-level great fishing master, you will be easily injured. Han Fei, learn the healing technique. As a spirit gatherer, don't you even learn the healing technique? Han Fei was speechless. I don't have time. Old Bai snorted. Haha, you have time to eat hot pot, but you don't have time to cultivate? Look at you. You're only junior great fishing masters. Look at them. There are a lot of intermediate great fishing masters and advanced great fishing masters. Are you ashamed of yourself? Everyone. After Old Bai left, Zhang Xuanyu touched his head. Is President Luo Xiaoming irritated? Lu Renquang wondered. Not slow. We have a good foundation. Luo Xiaobai said calmly. Listen to President Luo and cultivate quickly. We should not be far from the bottleneck of a junior great fishing master. The arena's 100-game winning streak may be to prepare for the brocade sachets later. Han Fei looked at the jade slip in his hand. Really? Why does it feel so weird? At this time, the healing spell was given to them. Did it mean that they would be injured in the near future? Han Fei said thoughtfully, Then I'm going to cultivate on the mountain. Everyone stopped, and Lu Renquang pulled Han Fei. No, you can cultivate in the treehouse. Zhang Xuanyu looked strange. If you can't, we can cultivate in a cave. If you are struck by lightning again, no one will save you. Han Fei walked to the treehouse with his head held high, murmuring, That day I stood on the top of the mountain, pointed to the sky, and said, I am not handsome. Then thunder fell from the sky, and the Tao roared. The rolling thunder said to me, You liar. Everyone, Luo Xiaobai said with a black face, Hurry up and learn the healing technique. If everything goes well, we will have a hard time in the last few games. Just when Luo Xiaobai said this, Xiao Zhan appeared again. Given that you have been fighting in the arena, from today on, you can only use 70% of your strength. Don't use it until the critical moment. After saying that, Xiao Zhan wobbled away, leaving a few people in a state of confusion. Lu Renquang was dumbfounded. Is the elder going to heal Han Fei? Zhang Xuanyu took a deep breath. I have a bad feeling. Xia Xiaochan frowned. 70%? It's barely enough. Han Fei held the little jade slip and kissed it. Spirit gatherer is really a good profession. In the future, let me comfort your broken hearts. Everyone. Xia Xiaochan raised her knife and slashed at him. Go to hell and cultivate. Han Fei was forced to run away. In the treehouse, he carefully read the contents of the jade slip. Healing seemed to be more difficult than water manipulation. Radiance of spiritual energy? Taking the radiance instead of spiritual energy? Han Fei was stunned. After blinking his eyes, a string of data appeared. Healing, spirit level, high quality. Note, spiritual chi has a glow, which is called healing divine light. The divine splendor connected with spiritual energy to nourish billions of living beings and give all living beings the foundation to revive. Deducing the divine healing technique consumed 100,000 points of spiritual energy. Do you want to deduce? Han Fei seemed to have long been accustomed to the price of the demon purification pot. However, 100,000 points of spiritual energy was not much. Compared with the fourth level of void fishing that required 10 million points of spiritual energy to deduce, it was simply too cheap. Deduce. At this moment, Xia Xiaochan stuck her head out of the treehouse, full of curiosity. Why is there such a strong spiritual energy? Luo Xiaobai glared at her. Xiaochan, don't disturb his cultivation. Xia Xiaochan snorted. The next morning, everyone found that Han Fei was missing. When they found him, they saw that he was holding a dagger to hurt himself. Zhang Xuanyu rubbed his hands and sneered. Oh, Fei Fei, what are you doing? Do you want me to help you? Han Fei smiled strangely. Then come and stab me. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. He had never heard such an unreasonable request since he was a child. Stab me. Anyway, you can't stab me to death. I like it. However, when Zhang Xuanyu was about to take the dagger, he was cut by Han Fei. A big cut appeared on his arm. Oh, despicable, shameless, Han Fei chuckled. Don't you know how to guard against fire, theft, and teammates? Don't move. A flickering light flashed in Han Fei's hand. He tried to shake it several times, but failed to do so. Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. Can you do it? If you can't, you can practice it slowly. Don't come out to harm others without being skilled. In the end, Han Fei could only press his palm on Zhang Xuanyu's arm, and it took him a few minutes to heal the wound. Luo Xiaobai asked curiously. It took 30 minutes for the wound to be completely healed. This speed is a bit slow. It seemed that I have to practice more. Han Fei said mischievously, Oh, when I master it, I'll turn you into a goddess with a ray of light. Han Fei curled his lips. I learned it in one night. Are you looking down on me because I'm too slow? Bai Kongyi squatted in the grass in the distance, deep in thought. Is this the healing technique? Isn't the healing technique similar to the spirit gathering technique? The light entered his body like silk. But what is this large expanse of light? Blue Sea Arena. Since Han Fei's team defeated the first academy, the Thug Legend team of 5 seemed to have suddenly become much weaker. Some people speculated that it was because the enemies had become stronger, and now those who dared to participate in the competition were all advanced great fishing masters. On the first day, they fought 3 games in a row. Zhang Xuanyu and Luo Xiaobai were both injured, and they won by a narrow margin. It was not that they were not strong, but after their strength was suppressed, they had to be careful in both the output of spiritual energy and the use of moves. The next day, they fought 2 more games. Zhang Xuanyu, Luo Xiaobai, and Liren Kuang were all injured, and they also won by a narrow margin. On the 5th day, the Thug Legend won the 68th game in a row. Xia Xiaochan was injured because she met 2 peak-level great fishing masters. On this day, the Thug Legend only fought 1 game. On the 10th day, the Thug Legend won the 82nd game in a row. Except for Han Fei, all the members were injured. Among them, Zhang Xuanyu and Luo Xiaobai were the most seriously injured, and their internal organs were somewhat damaged. Zhang Xuanyu wailed, be gentle, it hurts. Han Fei, can your half-baked healing technique work? At this moment, Han Fei's healing technique was like rain, sprinkling light all over the place. The light sprinkled on the wound, making it painful and itchy. The others suffer a lot. They couldn't wait to make Han Fei smarter so that he could learn healing techniques as soon as possible. However, they didn't know that their recovery the next day was actually also related to this half-baked healing technique. According to common sense, ordinary healing techniques were not so strong. On this day, Xiao Zhan appeared and glanced at the others. Except for Han Fei, the others can use 80% of their combat power. Half a month later, the Thug Legend won 88 games in a row. Yes, 5 days had passed, and they had fought 6 games. Although they won all the games, except for Han Fei, the others were also injured every day. But the harvest in these 5 days could be said to be rich. Luo Xiaobai and Liren Kuang both became intermediate great fishing masters, and Zhang Xuanyu improved a little. 26 days later, the Thug Legend won the 99th game in a row. Han Fei was injured once during this period, but it was not serious, and he was allowed to use 80% of his strength. The others all used 90% of their strength. Zhang Xuanyu broke through to the peak-level junior great fishing master. This speed of progress was amazing. Of course, during this period, Zhang Xuanyu healed the most injuries. His injury rate directly improved Han Fei's divine healing technique by leaps and bounds. At this moment, as long as he waved his hand, a ray of light would fall on Zhang Xuanyu's body. It would only take less than 2 minutes. The external injuries would be healed, and the internal injuries would take longer. Depending on the severity of the injury, the longest would be 2 hours, and the shortest would only be half an incense's time. Zhang Xuanyu shook his arm. It's the last game. Can we use our full strength? Luo Xiaobai hesitated. Looking at the opponents, I feel that this game will not be easy. To be safe, you, Liren Kuang, and I will use our full strength. Xiaochan, 90%, and Han Fei, 80%. Han Fei said indifferently, Anyway, it's the last game. If it's necessary, use your full strength. If it's a matter of life and death, use your life-saving combat skills. After all, you'll have to use them. Xia Xiaochan said, you haven't learned your own life-saving combat skills yet. You're too slow. Han Fei chuckled. After this game, I'll go find some materials and make some knives. I'll definitely practice the million knife art. On this day, in the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant, everything was half price, celebrating the 100th battle of the Thug Legend. The contents of this chapter are mobile update on this day. The Blue Sea Arena was so crowded that even the walkways were full of people. It was also the same day. Thousands of students from the 3 academies rushed to the Blue Sea Arena, waiting for the Thug Legend's 100-game winning streak to be broken. Once this 100-game winning streak was broken, he would have to start all over again. But was it really that easy to start from scratch? Once they lost this match, the 100-game winning streak would lose its meaning. Backfield. Luo Xiaobai said, you can't lose this game. We already know the information about the other party. They are a perfect team, 2 peak-level great fishing masters, 3 advanced great fishing masters, and all of them are in the top 100 of the 3 academies. If we can't defeat them, go all out. If you want to talk about Fishing God with more like-minded people, follow Yua Literature on WeChat to chat about life and find bosom friends, read too. Chapter 171. When the players of both sides stood on the field, the cheers were like waves. Watermark advertisement test. The ordinary audience didn't know about the watermark advertisement test, but the students of the 3 academies were shocked. Oh my God! Su Yebai, who ranks 8th on the top 100 list, is said to have slaughtered an entire team alone. He explored a certain underwater relic alone and came back. He Xiaoyu and the others turned pale. How could the opponent of the 100th game be so strong? Xiao Wushuang exclaimed. Su Yebai is the captain. But Qin Yu, is she here too? Chun Qing and the others were not from the first academy, so they couldn't help asking, who is Qin Yu? Wang Baiyu explained. She is a hunter ranked 33rd on the top 100 list. She is very strong and a violent player like Xia Xiaochan. He Xiaoyu pointed to another person. Not only Qin Yu, but Xie Shan is also here. He ranks 41st on the top 100 list. Xiang Man followed He Xiaoyu's gaze. That thin man, is he an armorist? He Xiaoyu replied, no, he is a soul warrior. Xiang Man and the others were shocked. He is so thin. Is he a soul warrior? He Xiaoyu said enviously. It is said that he is a natural soul warrior. His spiritual beast is a Red Sea swordwing fish, and his whole body is made of knives. He also has another name in the first academy, Saber King. In the stands, in a mess of exclamations, the background of the other 2 people was revealed. One was the armorist Zhou Yu, ranked 49th on the top 100 list. The other was Yun Qi, who was also a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior, ranked 69th on the top 100 list. In the field, Luo Xiaobai frowned. Let me try Su Yebai. Xiaochan, the other party's hunter, is yours. Xia Xiaochan shook her ponytail. Leave it to me. So what if he is ranked 33rd on the top 100 list? Do you really regard the top 100 list as a standard of strength? Han Fei curled his lips. I don't know where he found a spirit gatherer who is the same as me. He is also a soul warrior. He doesn't seem to be weak. Don't underestimate the opponent. Don't forget, the opponent is an advanced fishing master. Han Fei smiled. I walk my own path, and when others walk, I beat them. When others keep walking, I keep beating them. Everyone, Zhang Xuanyu was sweating a little. The soul warrior on the other side is very strong. I don't have time to care about you. Leave this person to me. I don't have time to help you. Lu Renquang was unusually serious. This time I'll stay with Xiaobai. When the atmosphere was heated up to a certain extent, the host shouted, the competition begins. Fuse. At the first moment, everyone chose to fuse, except for 2 people who didn't. One of them was Su Yebai. He summoned a spider that was 7 to 8 meters long. Countless people at the scene gasped. Eternal Night Black Spider? At the same time, a large blue flower rose from the ground. Although it had fused with Luo Xiaobai, the blue phantom was still solid. The captains of both sides revealed their spiritual beasts as soon as the battle began. Just the scene alone caused many people's hearts to ripple. They had never seen these exotic spiritual beasts before. Before either team could make a move, the ground cracked. Tens of thousands of vines intertwined with the extremely imperceptible spider silk. Before anyone could move, a large number of vines were shredded and a large number of spider webs were destroyed. The leader of the first academy, Su Yebai, smirked. In the next moment, a huge net covered the entire arena and fell from the sky. Shadowless blade. Xia Xiaochan took action. In an instant, countless flickering shadow blades appeared around the big net, and the huge net was cut into pieces in the blink of an eye. Qin Yu, the hunter on the opposite side, glanced at Xia Xiaochan. I wonder which is stronger, your shadow shrimp or my ghost shrimp? As she spoke, Qin Yu turned into a ghost that was visible to the naked eye, floating in the air and heading straight for Xia Xiaochan. When the blade swept past her, everyone was shocked to find that the blade passed through Qin Yu's body and couldn't hurt her at all. Shadow entanglement. Xia Xiaochan turned into a shadow unhurriedly. Instead of attacking Qin Yu, she shot hundreds of shadow blades at Qin Yu's shadow. Qin Yu's face changed slightly, but her ghost-like body suddenly grabbed at Xia Xiaochan. Instead of grabbing Xia Xiaochan's shadow, she seemed to be grabbing Xia Xiaochan's soul. Like a ghost, Xia Shan, the meat shield of the First Academy, grinned hideously. You seem to be much stronger than I thought. However, don't you think a junior great fishing master can stop me? Aren't you too naive? Xia Shan roared, and countless sword thorns grew out of his body. Around his body, there were also hundreds of small swords floating. Zhang Xuanyu showed a rare solemn look. Han Fei, a spirit-gathering array, suddenly appeared under Han Fei's feet, and billowing spiritual energy poured into Zhang Xuanyu's body. The latter roared, and a raging wave came. Zhang Xuanyu stood on the wave, and a scarlet shark 7 or 8 meters long appeared. Its sharp teeth and ferocious face scared many spectators. Someone was surprised. What kind of spiritual beast is this? Why haven't I seen Zhang Xuanyu use it before? Of course, he met his match, didn't he? If he doesn't use his ultimate move, he'll die. Zhang Xuanyu raised his rod from the seawater, and a big rod tens of meters long rose into the sky and smashed down rapidly. This kind of open battle, this kind of visual effect far surpassed Xie Shan's. However, when the first blow fell, hundreds of sword blades gathered and rotated, and the big rod tens of meters long was smashed. Zhang Xuanyu shouted, "Spiritual explosion!" As soon as he shouted, spider silk came from all directions. Luo Xiaobai immediately helped Zhang Xuanyu block it. However, the spider silk penetrated the vines. Han Fei's double knives flew out. Spinning blade. The two knives quickly spun around and cut off the spider silk. The opponent's spirit gatherer, Yun Qi, sneered. How dare you distract yourself to help your teammates in front of me? Flaming ray. Han Fei remembered that Yun Qi's spiritual beast was a fire krill, which was a bit similar to He Xiaoyu's little red sparrow. However, it seemed to be much stronger than He Xiaoyu in terms of attack power. Suddenly, flames began to spread on the intricate spider silk. As a result, a strange scene appeared in the entire arena. Thousands of flame spider silk frantically strangled the blue vines. Han Fei rushed directly to the opponent's camp, and the 7-star chain behind him swept, shattering all the obstacles along the way. Xian Wu battle suit. As the opponent's armorist took action, the 5 opponents were covered with a layer of armor at the same time. Han Fei even had time to glance at Luren Quang. Look at them, they have armor. Look at you. Why don't you even let us wear armor? Luren Quang was helpless. I don't have armor either, but I have berserk. Then, Luren Quang shouted, Berserk war body, armor cover. A layer of golden light burst out from the 5 of them at the same time. At this moment, the battle between the 5 of them seemed to be strengthened. On the other side, between Xia Xiaochan and Qin Yu, one was a ghost and the other was a shadow, and no one could hurt the other. Once there was a fatal blow, the 2 of them would either become shadows or ghosts. And the first blow of Zhang Xuanyu and Xie Shan directly shattered the area within a radius of tens of meters. A big pit was left at the point of collision, and Zhang Xuanyu was sent flying backward and caught by vines. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his hand was torn. As soon as the battle began, the entire arena was covered by all kinds of combat skills. The whole arena was burning. Raging waves were rolling. Light and shadow were competing, and vines and spider silk were strangling each other. Lu Rinquang shouted, "Bloodthirsty broadsword." Lu Rinquang slashed his broadsword at Su Yebai, the captain of the First Academy. The opponent's armorist was annoyed. "Do I not exist?" Xian Wu Divine Shield. Rumble. Lu Rinquang was shocked. The bloodthirsty broadsword was blocked again. He immediately vomited a mouthful of blood. It was not a joke that a broadsword must drink blood. If he didn't drink blood, he would have to bear the backlash. And Zhou Yu's face was also dark. 3 cracks appeared on the Xian Wu Divine Shield. His weapon was damaged, and he himself was injured. Zhou Yu also vomited a mouthful of blood. 2 draws and 1 loss in the first confrontation, which showed how strong the team of the First Academy was. Han Fei sent a stream of spiritual energy into Lu Rinquang's body, and Su Yebai also sent a stream of spiritual energy into Zhou Yu's body. Han Fei chuckled. "Are you sure you'll let me in?" Han Fei had already passed the crowd and rushed into the enemy's side. Yun Qi sneered. "You won't be able to return. Retreat." Yun Qi, Zhou Yu, Qin Yu, and Xie Shan were suddenly pulled out of the battle. In midair, the 4 suddenly burst out with all their strength and rushed at Han Fei. The god of fishing, if you want to talk about fishing god with more like-minded people, follow Yua Literature on WeChat to chat about life and find confidence, read too. Chapter 172. Han Fei was stunned. "You didn't fight so many brutal monsters, but 4 of you ran away to kill me. A big piece of meat?" Su Yebai smiled coldly. "I knew your defense was strong, so I've been waiting for you." The enemy's retreat was too decisive. Before everyone realized what was going on, Han Fei seemed to have been hit by 10,000 points. Qin Yu's outbreak, Zhou Yu's black tortoise strike, Yun Qi's long rod, and Xie Shan, who was covered in swords, all attacked at the same time. Stunned, Lu Rinquang scratched his head subconsciously. What were they thinking? Luo Xiaobai was stunned for a second and quickly took action, shouting, "Target Su Yebai." Xiao Xiaochan moved as fast as lightning. Zhang Xuanyu's eyes turned white and a soul shock went straight to Su Yebai's head. Su Yebai's face changed greatly. He saw the problem almost in the blink of an eye. The 4 people of the thug legend didn't care about Han Fei at all. Why? Either Han Fei had a power that he didn't know, or Han Fei could fight 4 people alone, or Han Fei's defense was so amazing that they didn't need to worry about him at all. Su Yebai roared, "Retreat." 10,000 spider blood poison. Su Yebai made a mistake and immediately began to remedy it. For people were also coming at him, so he had to unleash his full strength. For a moment, the audience only saw the vines withering. Xia Xiaochan threw away the dagger in her hand because the black spider venom had covered her dagger in midair. Lu Rinquang's blade storm was the strongest. It shattered all the spider threads in front of Su Yebai and even the black tortoise armor. Seeing that victory was about to come, a huge black conch appeared and blocked the blade storm. Han Fei sneered. "You're my water, and you want to help others?" Yes. The moment the 4 people besieged him, Han Fei raised a water wall around him and waved the 7-star chain. Han Fei's figure shuttled among the 4 people like a mudfish. The 2 knives were like wandering snakes in his hands, and his control was even better than Qin Yu's dagger. Xie Shan, who was covered in swords, charged at Han Fei with thorns all over his body. But to his surprise, Han Fei ignited a spiritual energy protective cover and collided with him head-on. BM, the audience only saw the water explode. Other than Qin Yu, Zhou Yu and Yun Qi were sent flying. Han Fei was extremely fast, turning into a blur at an unreasonable speed. The person flying in front of him was Xie Shan, who had defeated Zhang Xuanyu in an incomparably domineering manner. Bang, bang, bang. There were faint electric arcs on Han Fei's fists. He punched again and again, and his body seemed to be in a state of spiritual energy explosion. The spikes on Xie Shan's body shattered one by one. Ever since he was caught by Han Fei, he had no chance to escape. He had never come down from the air. Ka, ka. Some blades were even broken by Han Fei. Even when Han Fei's hands were bombarded by the swords, they only made clanking sounds. Of course, it was not completely useless. Xiaoshan seemed to know that he couldn't escape. Under the full bombardment, Han Fei's body was now covered with blood marks. But Xiaoshan was even more miserable. His arms were twisted off by Han Fei, and the blade on his chest was completely shattered by Han Fei. At this moment, his chest was stained with blood, and blood was spurting out his mouth. Black Tortoise! Zhou Yu's reaction was very fast. Layers of shield armor appeared in front of Xiaoshan, but Han Fei was not afraid at all. Facing the shield armor, he released a burst of spiritual energy. The shield armor shattered layer after layer, and in the end, Xiaoshan was thrown into the sky by Han Fei. Universe Strike. A blade soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, all 7 layers of shield armor were shattered, and Xiaoshan's whole body was pierced through. He fell heavily to the ground, dead or alive. Many people from the First Academy stood up and watched this scene in shock. Han Fei, is this spirit gatherer so strong? Han Fei's face was a little pale. After all, the other party was an advanced great fishing master, and the gap between their realms was different from that of Fisher. Even according to the most basic gap, Han Fei and Xiaoshan were at least 3 levels apart. But Han Fei knew that if he tried his best to kill one of them first, Zhang Xuanyu would be at an advantage. The teachers of the First Academy were pale. In their calculation, although Han Fei was strong, he was not fast enough and his combat skills were not fierce enough. So they ranked him 4th in the thug legend. The first was Xia Xiaochan, the second was Luo Xiaobai, and the third was Lurenquan. But now they found that they were totally wrong. Han Fei was 2F* king strong, 4 against 1, and 1 was killed. The audience burst into an uproar. What the hell? An advanced great fishing master couldn't break Han Fei's defense and could only cause some superficial wounds to him. Was he still human? The next moment, Su Yebai shouted, "Zhou Yu, block Han Fei. The others go back to help." On the other side, Lurenquan appeared in front of Xia Xiaochan with 2 brand new daggers. The latter's eyes turned cold. Poison? Giant arowana. At this moment, while many people were still shocked by Han Fei's strength, a golden fish more than 10 meters long or even larger appeared. Wow, what kind of fish is this? Almost everyone present was stunned. They didn't know this fish. What kind of fish is this? Suddenly, the teachers of the Second Academy exclaimed, "A second spiritual beast." At this time, countless people suddenly realized that there was a second spiritual beast. Don't lie to me. What was a giant arowana? Xia Xiaochan didn't know. But since there was a dragon in its name, it must have the bloodline of a dragon. At this moment, the big fish opened its mouth, and a gust of wind blew and the dragon roared, shocking the entire Blue Sea arena. Outside, the mayor and the presidents of the 3 academies came one after another. They felt that something was wrong. But at this moment, the giant arowana roared, and its voice shattered everyone's black tortoise armor like a demonic sound. Because it was an indiscriminate attack, even Lu Rinquang and Zhang Xuanyu vomited blood. With blood flowing from the corner of her mouth, Luo Xiaobai took the opportunity to break the layers of spider silk with her vines. Fuse. Su Yebai finally chose to fuse while bleeding from all 7 of his orifices. At this moment, almost 10 feet long sharp claws grew out of his back, and he quickly dodged to the side. And Qinyu, who had been ready to fight Xia Xiaochan, was dispelled by her roar. When she returned to human form from the ghost state, she lay on the ground and coughed blood. Yin Shi replenished Su Yebai's spiritual energy and performed a healing technique. A big sword flew over from Zhou Yu's side, and he quickly pounced on Luo Xiaobai. He gave up Xia Xiaochan and Han Fei, who were no match for him at all. And this happened to be a gap in Luo Xiaobai's defense. Bloodburn. Furious Sea Spiritual Strike. Vomiting blood, Zhang Xuanyu gritted his teeth and attacked Yin Qi with his soul. Seeing that Yin Qi slowed down, he smashed his rod at him. BM! Zhang Xuanyu's feet went soft. He was too close to Xia Xiaochan just now, and his combat ability was seriously reduced by her roar. Zhang Xuanyu shouted, "Han Fei, help me!" Han Fei frowned and looked at Zhou Yu, who was blocking him. Scar of War Shadows. Zhou Yu almost vomited blood. This guy's here again. I'm no match for him at all. In an instant, Zhou Yu cast multiple layers of black tortoise shields on himself and fought Han Fei head-on. BM, Han Fei was blown away, and Zhou Yu's armor was broken. He half-knelt on the ground, panting heavily. But before he stood up, Han Fei shouted again, "Scar of War Shadows. Zhou Yu." At this moment, the fat man felt very wronged. Is this guy's strength and spiritual energy infinite? How many times has it been? This time, Zhou Yu failed to block it. His armor was all broken, and Han Fei ran away again. Yin Qi's face changed drastically. Zhou Yu was so fat that he couldn't even defend himself. The next moment, a burst of light sprinkled on Zhang Xuanyu. Zhang Xuanyu shook all over and slashed at him with a big rod. Su Yabai didn't count on any of them now. His teammates had no chance of winning. All this was because he made a wrong decision to besiege Han Fei. At this moment, countless spider threads burst out of Su Yabai's body. No matter what, he had to kill Xia Xiaochan first. This woman's attack power was too strong for him to resist. Xia Xiaochan disdainfully looked at Su Yabai, who was bouncing at her with spider threads. She didn't even use her giant arowana, but turned into a shadow and entangled him. Poison explosion. Han Fei shouted, "Retreat!" Puff! Xia Xiaochan fell to the ground, her face blue and purple. What kind of poison is this? Can it penetrate shadows? After landing on the ground, Xia Xiaochan's breath was unstable and her body was faintly red. Han Fei immediately had a bad feeling. What if she had an attack at this moment? Han Fei's eyes immediately turned red. "Little brat, I'm going to beat you until you call me daddy today." Chapter 173. Han Fei was furious. It was true that Xia Xiaochan was a little demon girl, but didn't the four of them just let her do whatever she wanted in the academy? It was one thing to make a fuss, but he still liked her very much. No matter what, it was not up to an outsider to beat him up. The point was that if Xia Xiaochan had an attack now, it would be disastrous. With so many people present, she might accidentally get dozens of patients. It was too easy for her. Han Fei stepped in the air, but his hands didn't stop. He cast the divine healing technique on Xia Xiaochan, and at the same time, a green fruit flew to Xia Xiaochan. Han Fei shouted, "Detoxify." It was over. 7 chains pierced through the void from all directions. Han Fei roared, "7-star chain, clang." Su Yabai wanted to use his claws to block the chain, but he was entangled as soon as he got close. Han Fei secretly felt that it was a pity that Su Yabai had 8 claws and the 9-tailed mantis shrimp had only evolved 7 tails. Otherwise, the enemy wouldn't be able to move at all. Su Yabai turned pale with fright. What kind of skill was that? The chain is alive? Connect to where? Seeing that Han Fei was already in front of him, he shouted, "Attach." Han Fei chuckled. A contractual spiritual beast wants to stop me? In the chaos, Han Fei had already held a small seal in his hand. He had never used this small seal before. He didn't want to be too ostentatious, but he was so angry that this guy poisoned Xia Xiaochan to such a state. Bang! When Han Fei waved his fist, a big seal appeared in the air. The next moment, Su Yabai was smashed into the ground like a cannonball, creating a huge crater. Han Fei secretly put the water-stirring seal back into Forge the Universe, thinking that no one saw it. The seal was so small that I could only hold it in my hand. Since then, the top 100 of the First Academy, except for Yun Qi, who was fighting with Zhang Xuanyu, had all been defeated. Han Fei immediately looked at Cloud 7. Yun Qi raised his eyebrows, swept away Zhang Xuanyu with his sword, and jumped back 3 times in a row. I admit defeat. Yun Qi was not a fool. How could he fight in this state? He tied with Zhang Xuanyu at most, and the rest were all defeated by Han Fei. 3 of them were killed by Han Fei alone. If he continued to fight, would he be courting death? The host stuttered, "I admit defeat." Ow! It was a big event that shocked the heavens and made ghosts and gods weep. The thug legend completed their legend. For the first time in more than 30 years, they had won 100 games in a row in the Blue Sea Arena. This is a miracle. This is a memorable epic. This is worthy of our cheers, our craziness. Arg! In the roar of the tsunami, Han Fei and the others crowded around Luo Xiaobai. At this moment, Xia Xiaochan looked much better. Xia Xiaochan looked at Han Fei and said aggrievedly, "I didn't know he was so poisonous." Han Fei was relieved. "That's good. It's a pity that the giant arowana was exposed." "It's okay. We're not in the city. Don't worry." Han Fei hesitated. "What about just now?" Xia Xiaochan pursed her lips and shook her head slightly. "It's okay. It's over." Han Fei heaved a sigh of relief. As long as she didn't have an attack, everything was fine. Otherwise, only the heavens knew what would happen. At the scene, mid-quality pearls were all over the sky, and someone was throwing them wildly. When the top 100 contestants of the first academy appeared, countless people placed their bets on them. But who knew that the thug legend still won? Those who won were now sprinkling pearls, throwing them out as if they were free just because they were happy. Someone exclaimed, "Miracle! A 100-game winning streak in the Blue Sea Arena. This is a miracle." Someone doubted. The thug legend still has the power to fight. Look at Han Fei, he's fine. Zhang Xuanyu still has the power to fight. Luo Xiaobai hasn't even used the blue cannibal flower, nor Lu Renquang's violent combat skills. They definitely won. Compared with the cheering audience, the faces of the three academies were not so good. Many students who came to watch the battle were dumbfounded. Suyabai, who ranked 8th on the top 100 list, the manipulator who was almost invincible in team battles, was defeated and pressed to the ground by Han Fei. At this moment, the people of the First Academy were trying their best to rescue him, casting all kinds of healing techniques on him. When they pulled Su Yebai out of the pit, his limbs were almost all broken, and half of his ribs were broken. Those spirit gatherers couldn't help but be shocked. How much strength did Han Fei use in the last blow? Many people of the First Academy clenched their fists. This was a shame. A student said, "It's a command error. They shouldn't have besieged Han Fei. That guy is just a human-shaped weapon. They can't beat him at all." Someone said angrily, "What was Han Fei's last blow? What kind of combat skill was that big seal phantom? How could it be so strong?" In the crowd, He Xiaoyu, Wang Baiyu, Xiang Nan, Xia Wushuang, and the others were lying on the railing in a daze. Before, Xia Xiaochan said that when Han Fei entered the Fourth Academy, he had to hold on for 10 minutes under the siege of 4 people. Now it seemed that it was more than that. What kind of freakish physique was that? Xiang Nan swallowed. "They're all monsters. Han Fei killed 3 of them alone. Xia Xiaochan's second spiritual beast is extremely powerful. That big fish almost killed all of us with its mouth." Han Fei waved his hands and waved at the audience. Lu Renquang also waved. The two of them were very happy. Finally, they could stop fighting every day. The host said, "Look, student Han Fei." Student Lu Renquang raised his hands happily. "Let our hands sway along with them." Han Fei. Han Fei looked at the host. This person has the potential to be a DJ. If there were light sticks, would everyone wave the light sticks in their hands and shake them together? The host was indeed very excited because he was the host of the miracle of 100 consecutive victories. In the future, it would be written on the major events of the Blue Sea town over the years. The host continued, "During this period of time, the thug legend has won incredible battles one after another. They have been injured and bled, but they have never been absent. Excuse me, what made them successful?" The host was going to answer his own question, but before he could answer, Han Fei shouted anxiously, "The secret of success is to persevere and win. After many triumphs, you have succeeded." The host. The audience. Lu Renquang also shouted, "The secret of success is to eat more. A strong physique cannot be separated from the support of delicious food." In the corner of the auditorium, Xiao Zhan covered his face. "No, it seems that we have to take more cultural classes in the future. If we say it that way, at least it will be more philosophical." Old Bai blew his beard angrily. "Huh, these little guys are getting arrogant. Let's go back and let them feel what failure is. In the sky, the presidents of the 3 academies all looked gloomy. This time, they couldn't stop the rise of the 4th Academy. In the past, the 4th Academy had recruited students. Occasionally, there would be 1 or 2. But 1 or 2 were not enough. Who knew that they would recruit 5 people this year? Where the hell did these 5 people come from? The mayor, on the other hand, was deep in thought. Although Han Fei was amazing, he only had strong defense and strength. Although he was a genius, he had seen him before. And Xia Xiaochan puzzled him. He felt that he had seen that big fish in an ancient book. But it was too long ago, and he couldn't remember it. Han Fei and Lu Renquang wanted to have fun, and Zhang Xuanyu wanted to join them. But before they continued, they were dragged into the backfield by Luo Xiaobai with vines. Bao Jin, with 2 rows of attendants, lined up to welcome them. Luo Xiaobai frowned. "What are you doing?" Bao Jin smiled apologetically. "As the first team to win 100 games in a row in more than 30 years, please accept the Medal of Honor from our Blue Sea Arena. This is an honor worthy of commemoration." Lu Renquang and Zhang Xuanyu looked happy. What he said made sense. They had to keep the medal so that they could brag about it to others in the future. Xia Xiaochan, who was still a little weak, said unhappily, "Can it be a bonus? You could take out tens of thousands of mid-quality pearls. It's better than this." Han Fei agreed very much. The medal can't be sold for money. The bonus is more practical. Bao Jin was speechless. This is an honor. Besides, we opened this arena to make money. There was no bonus before. However, Bao Jin made a prompt decision. Yes, of course there's a bonus, but not tens of thousands of mid-quality pearls. Only 10,000 mid-quality pearls. Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. 10,000 per person? Bao Jin was embarrassed. A total of 10,000. Xia Xiaochan suddenly lost interest. That's too little. It's not enough to buy a suit of clothes. With that, Xia Xiaochan suddenly looked at Han Fei. "What about the clothes you want to make for me?" Han Fei blinked. "Do you still remember this? Didn't I say this on the spot when I bought the clothes?" Luo Xiaobai looked at the ruined clothes on her body and frowned. The clothes can be made. When Luo Xiaobai saw the Chong Sam, she liked it. If Han Fei could make better clothes, she would also like it. Han Fei said impatiently, "Let's go back. Let's go to eat hot pot first." "I want clothes." Han Fei said grumpily, "Go to the hot pot restaurant to get your salary first. Don't forget that you still have 10% of the shares." With that said, the few of them walked forward. Only Zhang Xuanyu leaned over to Bao Jin, took the medal, and stuffed it into his pocket, saying, "That bonus. I'll send it to the 4th Academy." Bao Jin looked at these little guys and suddenly clapped his mouth. "Why did you give me a prize for your cheap mouth? A bunch of people who don't lack money. Don't you know that it's not easy for us to earn money?" Chapter 174. The Thug Academy rose again. Countless people went to the school to ask if they could let their children in. Unfortunately, Xiao Zhan blocked the way alone, saying that only great fishing masters, exotic spiritual beasts, and those who considered themselves geniuses had a chance to enter. Otherwise, he would come back next year. At this moment, Han Fei was desperate. He thought that the source of Xia Xiaochan's happiness was money, so he took them to the fish dragons to get their share of the money. Everyone got more than 8,000 mid-quality pearls and clamored to go to the Linglong Tower. Han Fei didn't want to buy anything from the Linglong Tower. It was too expensive, but the other 4 were willing to buy it. Seeing that Xia Xiaochan wanted to buy clothes, Han Fei immediately said, "Cloth, cloth." Xia Xiaochan tilted her head and looked at Han Fei. "Can you really do it?" Han Fei nodded helplessly. "Anyway, it's better than yours, and it's cheaper." Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. "Really?" Without waiting for Han Fei to answer, Xia Xiaochan pointed to the waiter and said, "Bring up all your good fabrics. Don't take the bad ones." The one who received them was still the beautiful woman Yuling from last time. At this moment, Yuling looked at Han Fei and said, "Congratulations, students, for winning a 100-game winning streak in the Blue Sea Arena. You can enjoy a 10% discount at the Linglong Tower today. We want cloth." Yuling waved her hand, and someone responded and left. Yuling said, "Brother Han Fei, why don't you sell us the clothes you designed this time? As for the price, I can offer 200,000 mid-quality pearls. Hiss! The metal in Zhang Xuanyu's hand fell to the ground. Lu Renquang staggered and quickly supported Zhang Xuanyu. The two girls were dumbfounded. 200,000 mid-quality pearls? If Old Bai were here, he would definitely force Han Fei to sell it. Han Fei rolled his eyes. You want to use us as your spokespersons? Don't even think about it. Yuling, image spokesperson? This is a new term. I won't sell it. I don't want to be seen all over the street wearing the same clothes as us. If that's the case, how can we highlight our unique temperament? Xia Xiaochan immediately responded, yes, only we can wear it. No one else can. Lu Renquang agreed. Yes, we don't lack money. Yuling sighed softly. It was a pity that such a good set of clothes was going to be used on a few brats. However, thinking of the recent rise of the fish dragons, Yuling was indeed surprised. The gang from a village had spent 200,000 mid-quality pearls on the market of the Blue Sea town. During the month, the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant and the Fish Dragon cards became famous throughout the Blue Sea town and made a lot of money. It was said that he made at least 400,000 mid-quality pearls in a month. His ability to make money was terrifying. Yuling had a smile and said, then if you want to cooperate with me in the future, please come to the Linglong Tower. We can still work together for $1 million business. Xia Xiaochan and the others widened their eyes. $1 million deal? This number was a little too big. Zhang Xuanyu and the others could only swallow their saliva. Was making clothes so profitable? He didn't know if it was too late to change professions. Han Fei waved his hand. No, we're a small business and can't afford to make big moves. But does the Linglong Pagoda sell any Dharma treasures? Yuling's eyes lit up. Of course, the magic treasures are on the 5th floor. Little friend Han, do you want to come? Zhang Xuanyu nodded. Look, I haven't seen a magic treasure yet. Lu Renquang nodded. Yes, it depends. How much is one? Usually, it ranges from 50,000 to 100,000. An ultra-quality magic treasure may cost 200,000 mid-quality pearls. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air before they even went up. Should they go or not? They couldn't afford it. Even if they sold the fish dragons, they couldn't afford a few. Luo Xiaobai asked, didn't you say last time that a spiritual weapon was only 100,000 mid-quality pearls? Last time, it was an exchange. I'm optimistic about student Han Fei, so the price is naturally low. Normally, a spiritual weapon is at least 200,000 mid-quality pearls and can even go up to 1 million. Han Fei twitched his mouth. It's really easy to make money. He felt that it was necessary to open another fish dragon blacksmith shop in the future to forge spiritual weapons. He could make a fortune in minutes. On the 5th floor of the Linglong Pagoda, everyone looked at the sparkling weapons, and none of them could move an inch. Han Fei also took a fancy to a bow, but when he looked at the price, it was 720,000 mid-quality pearls. He immediately gave up. This is too damn expensive. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Yuling asked, do you like it? Everyone looked at Han Fei, and Han Fei said calmly, what are these made of? Yuling pointed to the bow in front of Han Fei. This is made of purple gold. But the most important thing is not the purple gold, but the craftsmanship of the blacksmith. In terms of purple gold alone, this bow is less than 300,000 mid-quality pearls. Han Fei was shocked. The material cost is so expensive? Immediately, a look of chagrin appeared on his face. Back then, in the gate of the hexagon starfish, he seemed to have seen this material. At that time, he thought it was an amethyst, but it turned out to be purple gold. Han Fei's face turned pale. I can't afford it. Let's go. Xia Xiaochan, have you chosen the cloth? Xia Xiaochan had already given up when she saw the price and said indifferently, didn't you choose? By the way, I want a set of red clothes, a set of white clothes, and a set of green clothes. Han Fei's face was black. Why don't you want all the colors? Xia Xiaochan blinked to Han Fei and said faintly, can I? Han Fei covered his head. What a spendthrift woman. Luo Xiaobai also said, I want white. At most, you can add a little other color. Lu Renquang said happily, I want. Han Fei quickly interrupted, no, you don't want it. Lu Renquang. A day later, Han Fei ran out of the clothes cave, holding a pile of clothes. Han Fei was a little tired. It was like raising a daughter or a lover. He had to buy them beautiful clothes. But now that they had nice clothes, they would have more. He wanted beautiful hair ropes, beautiful hairpins, and beautiful jewelry. Anyway, these things were simple. There were all kinds of gems here, and black iron was not expensive. Purple gold was too expensive. Han Fei bought one the size of half a fist and spent 30,000 mid-quality pearls. In order not to be disturbed by Xia Xiaochan, who always liked to sneak attack, Han Fei also specially sealed the entrance of the cave. Of course, he didn't just want to make clothes. He just threw the clothes into the demon purification pot, threw some materials in, and then came up with a plan in his mind. It didn't take much time. His purpose in entering was naturally to refine magic treasures. Han Fei suspected that the difficulty of the second brocade sachet was much more difficult than the 100-game winning streak in the arena. He had to change his weapons. Then he took out the purple jade and the purple gold fish bones he got from the hexagon starfish. In the end, he only refined 2 mid-quality magic knives. With the remaining materials, he refined a total of 5 palm-sized magic knives in preparation for the million knife art. No way. As soon as Han Fei arrived at the treehouse, he saw Xia Xiaochan appear with a swish. Xia Xiaochan stared at the clothes in Han Fei's hand. They look very beautiful, colorful. Han Fei scoffed. 3 sets for you and 3 sets for Xiao Bai. Luren Kuang wailed. Han Fei, you're too much. Don't you want to make any for me? I'm your brother. Zhang Xuanyu said, Fei Fei, our brotherhood ends here today. Let's call it a day. Han Fei said angrily, get the F*** down. You're not little girls. Each of you only has 1 set. Zhang Xuanyu jumped down. Only 1 set? It's a little too few. Fei Fei, we should open a shop specializing in selling clothes. Otherwise, we'll break 1 set every time we fight. Han Fei sneered. I'm afraid you're the one who keeps wanting new clothes to wear, right? Go find the ultra-quality materials yourself. I'll make you a set of magic treasure-level clothes. If you can't find the materials, I won't care. Luren Kuang didn't mind. He just wanted to have fun. For fat people, clothes were used to cover their bodies. Anyway, he didn't think fat people looked good in any clothes. After a while, Luren Kuang jumped out of the treehouse with a howl. Okay, this is it. It perfectly covers my perfect figure. Very stylish. Zhang Xuanyu also came down from the treehouse at this moment, looking elegant. Han Fei gave him a fan and held it in his hand, but he proudly unfolded the fan with a swish, looking like a toy boy. Then Luo Xiaobai came out, wearing a white traditional Chinese dress with a pink tunic and neckline, like a little fairy. Zhang Xuanyu drooled at the sight of her. Luo Xiaobai blushed slightly. No matter how aloof a girl was, she was still a girl. All girls liked beautiful clothes, and Luo Xiaobai was no exception. It could be seen that she liked them very much. At this moment, Xia Xiaochan shouted, Han Fei, come in. I don't know how to wear them. Everyone. Lu Rinquang mumbled. That's a lot of information. Chapter 175. Everyone looked at Han Fei strangely, and then at Xia Xiaochan's treehouse, swallowing from time to time. Luo Xiaobai frowned slightly. Puppy love? That's too early. All of a sudden, Xia Xiaochan popped up, wearing a white and red Han costume. The upper body was white with red embellishments on the cuffs, neckline, buttons, and some carvings. The lower body was a knee-length red skirt, neither short nor long, revealing her 2 white legs. Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. Zhang Xuanyu stared at Xia Xiaochan and patted Han Fei's arm. Fei Fei, brother, let's go open a clothing store. We can definitely beat the Linglong Tower. A set of clothes is not expensive, 5,000 mid-quality pearls. Han Fei was speechless. F***ck off. Zhang Xuanyu smacked his lips. But, Xia Xiaochan, why is your hair down? What's that thing on your head? Han Fei was speechless. He made a phoenix hairpin with pearls, purple gold, and gems, but she just put on her head. Don't you have an aesthetic sense? Xia Xiaochan snorted. I don't know how to do it. Do I need to tell you? Han Fei, come and help me fix my hair. Everyone's eyes became strange again. Zhang Xuanyu said, it should not be the first time. Luren Kuang nodded. Definitely not. Luo Xiaobai, Zhang Xuanyu rubbed his hands and said, Xiaobai, do you want me to fix your hair? F***CK off. Han Fei climbed into Xia Xiaochan's treehouse and said, Aren't you good at fixing your hair? Xia Xiaochan shook her head. No, this thing can't go in. Xia Xiaochan fiddled with the phoenix hairpin, holding a cluster of red tassels in her hand. Han Fei smiled bitterly. This is not suitable for this set of clothes. But look carefully, I'll teach you once. After a while, Han Fei braided Xia Xiaochan's long hair into 2 twisted braids. Have you learned it? Xia Xiaochan blinked. Yes. Okay, I'm unwrapping it. The clothes you're wearing should match these. The red tassels are hanging above the left ear, and the 2 hairy balls are hanging on the braids. Look, it's still a braid, but when we bend it, it turns into a loop. Look, isn't it good now? Will you? Xia Xiaochan was stunned. Yes, yes. Xia Xiaochan grabbed the earring again and said, I don't have pierced ears. Han Fei smiled. Then why don't you do it yourself? Xia Xiaochan shook her head. No, that's my own flesh. I can't do it. Han Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You can't do it yourself, so you let me do it? After a while, Xia Xiaochan's treehouse. Ah, Han Fei, you hurt me. I'm going to kill you. Don't move. It's the first time, of course, but it won't happen again. Can't you be gentle? I'm already very light. If I'm any lighter, I won't be able to stab it in. Below, the 3 of them widened their eyes and looked up, blinking their eyes. Zhang Xuanyu swallowed hard. Should we retreat? I don't understand. What are they talking about? Luo Xiaobai asked, Why does it bleed? Zhang Xuanyu was speechless at the 2 idiots around him. Can't you be a little more sensible? Why don't you understand anything? After a while, Han Fei ran out, muttering, I'll never pierce girls' ears again. Blah, blah, puff. Zhang Xuanyu was shocked. How could someone pierce their ears like this? So, unbelievable. Less than half a minute later, Xia Xiaochan jumped out of the treehouse. Suddenly, a cute little girl appeared in front of everyone. Her hair was braided. There were 2 furry balls behind her, a strand of red tassel on her left ear, and 2 red earrings hanging from her ears. She was wearing a white coat with wide sleeves and a pleated skirt with red tassels. She was a pretty little girl. When he jumped down, his wrists and the back of his head made a ringing sound. Zhang Xuanyu glanced at Luo Xiaobai. Hey, sure enough, this differential treatment is a bit serious. Luo Xiaobai didn't hear what Zhang Xuanyu said and stepped forward curiously. Xiaochan, what are you wearing on your hand? Xia Xiaochan grinned. A bracelet, a little bell bracelet. Luo Xiaobai asked, Did Han Fei get this red earring too? Yes. Didn't he make it for you? Huh. Xiaobai, your white clothes are so beautiful. Luo Xiaobai turned to Han Fei and stretched out her hand. Bell bracelet. Han Fei. Han Fei was speechless. You 2 are not the same. It doesn't matter if she wears that bracelet, but if you wear it, it will ruin your cold temperament. Don't point your finger at me. Do you want an ankle bracelet? Luo Xiaobai asked. There are bracelets? Han Fei took out a slender ankle bracelet. This bracelet was originally prepared for Xia Xiaochan, but he guessed that Xia Xiaochan was an ADHD girl. If she sneaked up on others every day, she would be killed in minutes. But Luo Xiaobai was quiet. After thinking for a while, she buckled the ankle bracelet on her foot. As soon as she walked, the bell rang. Xia Xiaochan asked, What about mine? Han Fei replied, You don't need it. Even if I give you 10 ankle bracelets, you can still kick them away. Zhang Xuanyu and Lu Renkuang stared at him. They didn't dare to say or ask, Can't we have bells? In order to keep up with these guys, Han Fei put on a set of fashionable antique clothes. With such a combination, the 5 of them stood together in a nondescript manner. Each person had their own style, and they walked out with their own style. Thud, thud. 3 figures floated down from the sky and landed. Xiao Zhan was holding a brocade bag in his hand, staring at the 5 of them, and froze. Wenren Yu stepped forward. Xiaochan Xiaobai, where did you buy the clothes? How much is it? Which famous designer made it? Luo Xiaobai said flatly, Han Fei made it. Xia Xiaochan asked, Ms. Wenren, do I look good? Jingle. Xia Xiaochan was still shaking the bracelet she had just gotten in front of Wenren Yu. Wenren Yu pushed her hand away and walked straight to Han Fei. You can make clothes? And jewelry? Han Fei had a bad feeling. Huh, a little. One Rinyu asked, what do you think I should wear? What do you think of black? But it can't be pure black. It's too serious. How about some red? Old by cough. Cough. Ms. Wenren, what are you doing? Only then did One Rinyu remember why she was here. She took a deep look at Han Fei and then stood back. Xiao Zhan had already come back to his senses. These kids, he had never seen such unconventional students before. Interesting. Xiao Zhan continued. Since you have completed the assessment of the Blue Sea Arena, you are qualified to get the second brocade bag. However, you still have many shortcomings. For example, Xia Xiaochan, in the last game, you used the giant arowana. Why did you still fight in close combat with the opponent? As a result, you were poisoned and fell down on the spot. Are you ashamed? For example, Zhang Xuanyu, you even tied with a spirit gatherer. I really feel ashamed for you. Zhang Xuanyu continued. He is a dual cultivator. Besides, he is an advanced great fishing master. Okay. Xiao Zhan scoffed. Then why don't you ask why you are so weak? Xiao Zhan continued. This time, the result of 100 consecutive victories in the Blue Sea Arena is only average. Only one of the top 10 students of the 3 academies came. What if this team is made up of the top 10 opponents? What are your chances of winning? There is only a 50-50 chance of that happening. How can you defeat the 36 towns with such a low level? Blah, blah. Xiao Zhan was tired of talking and looked at Old Bai. Say something? Old Bai nodded and then said to them, since you won the Blue Sea Arena, you won. It's not a big deal. Let me ask you a few questions. Chapter 176. Old Bai raised a finger and took 2 steps forward. First question, have you studied your spiritual beast carefully? Han Fei and the others were all surprised. What kind of question was this? Of course we've studied our spiritual beasts. Old Bai sneered. That's not research. Just like Xia Xiaochan doesn't know what abilities the giant arowana has, and Luren Kuang doesn't know how to use the spiritual clam. You can't even master the basic abilities of your spiritual beasts. Are you geniuses? Without giving Han Fei and the others a chance to refute, Old Bai continued. Guess, when you become stronger and stronger, the demonic fish in the sea will also become smarter. Can you still catch fish? The more difficult it is to catch fish, the harder it is to catch them. What do you think the real road of a fishing master lies? Hearing this, everyone pondered for a while. They had never considered this problem. Fishes were silly, so he could just use the bait to catch them. Luo Xiaobai asked, is there any other way besides fishing? Old Bai chuckled. You're fishing with your hands, and most of the fish you catch are ordinary demonic fish. But some people don't need bait. They just need to wave their fishing hooks and catch purple gold mines from 100 kilometers away. How do you think they fish? Han Fei and the others were shocked. Can they fish for minerals? How is he supposed to fish? That's not a living thing. Old Bai continued. I'm telling you this just to make you think about it. Old Bai continued. The third question, have you ever thought about how a great fishing master or a dangling fisher can be considered as a cultivator? Zhang Xuanyu asked. Isn't a fishing master a cultivator? Luren Kuang nodded. Yes. Fishing masters can cultivate combat skills, higher cultivation methods, and even secret skills. Old Bai pulled his beard and sneered. Fishing masters are nothing. Ms. Wenren, explain it to them. One Rinyu stood up and smiled. Do you know why you didn't even know the other realms above great fishing masters and dangling fishers before? Maybe you have occasionally heard of hanging fishers, hidden fishers, or even other titles. But that's just hearsay, because your knowledge will determine your height. One Rinyu suddenly said seriously, fishermen and fishing masters are the bottom of this world. They didn't need to know anything. They just needed to live and fish for the rest of their lives. Above fishing masters, the realms are divided into great fishing master, dangling fisher, hanging fisher, hidden fisher, law enforcer, explorer, and so on. There are also powerful, venerable level experts. Luo Xiaobai asked why. One Rinyu explained, being a great fishing master is just a transitional stage. It can't be regarded as the real beginning of cultivation. Only by becoming a dangling fisher could one truly embark on the path of fishing cultivation. Fishing was not as simple as fishing for demonic fish. When the time comes, when your strength is sufficient, you will naturally understand. As for hanging fishers, as the name suggested, some of them could already stand in the air. Just like the angels who went to the awakening ceremony in your village, they had wings on their backs. Some were hanging fishers, some hidden fishers. Wondering you talked for a long time, and Han Fei finally concluded that fishing masters and great fishing masters were at the bottom of fishing cultivators. They were mainly responsible for teaching ordinary students and fishermen in the villages. The angler had just discovered the true meaning of fishing. Hanging fishers already had the ability to fly into the sky and dive into the sea, but they didn't have enough confidence and strength, so they couldn't transcend fishing itself. Hidden fishers could really fly into the sky and dive into the sea, explore relics, dig treasures, and search for mysterious resources in the sea. They were the main force in exploring the known sea area. Law enforcers were powerful. Those who were strong usually served as leaders. Wondering you didn't say what kind of mysterious leader they would be, and no one knew. Explorers were the most mysterious, and the known sea area could no longer satisfy them. They would explore the unknown sea, which was full of adventures and dangers. That place was unknown, and everything there was mysterious. Only those who reached the level of explorer were qualified to go there. Further up, there was the venerable level. Wondering you didn't say anything. Obviously, that seemed to be a little far away from her. Therefore, after everyone heard this, their first thought was not about those unreachable realms, but rather, what kind of cultivation path is fishing? She threw a brocade pouch to Han Fei and the others. Everyone opened it and saw 3 messages listed on it. First, explore the actual combat use of spiritual beasts. Second, comprehend the true meaning of fishing. There was nothing on the third point, only the word third. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this. Wondering you pointed to the brocade pouch in Xiao Zhan's hand. When you get the 6th brocade pouch, you'll know. If you can't get it, just graduate. There's no need to know more. Even if you force yourself to know, it will only do more harm than good. You can only serve as cannon fodder for the fishing cultivators. At this moment, everyone was a little excited. Before, no one told them these things. Even the village leader didn't know it himself. Who else could they ask? Now that they heard the secrets of different realms, how could they not be excited? In everyone's view, none of the realms mentioned by Old Bai could be reached casually. Only after advancing to a fisher would they get involved in the first secret of the cultivation world. And this was just the first one. Han Fei suddenly asked, "Teacher, can you explain weapons to us? I heard that there are magic weapons and spiritual weapons in the Linglong Tower, but why don't I see anyone using them?" Wen Yu sneered. "Can you afford them? Then if you want to buy them, you could buy a few." Huff! Wen Yu and Xiao Zhan's faces turned green. "What do you mean you can buy a few?" Wen Yu asked, "Do you know that a high-quality spiritual weapon is even worth millions of mid-quality pearls? Can your fish dragons afford it? Then at least if we meet it in the future, we'll know." Wen Yu shook her head helplessly. In fact, magic weapons are much more powerful than ordinary weapons. High-quality and ultra-quality magic weapons are also very powerful. For example, a great fishing master of the same realm, as you may break your defense with a magic weapon. If the other party is an advanced or peak-level great fishing master, he should be able to stab you with a magic weapon. Wow, everyone gasped. Piercing through Han Fei? Are you kidding me? Xiao Xiaochan's eyes lit up. How can I get a magic weapon? Han Fei, can you lend me some money? I want to buy 2 magic daggers. Han Fei rolled his eyes. Do you want me to lend you money to stab me? Don't even think about it. No money. Humph. Han Fei asked, what about spiritual weapons? Wen Yu looked at Han Fei up and down. Spiritual weapons can stab you at will. Besides, spiritual weapons have spirituality. They will recognize their owners. Their owners can sense the existence of their spiritual weapons from thousands of miles away. Unless the connection between the spiritual weapon and its owner is cut off, such as a small space like a sea swallowing seashell. Han Fei asked, what about spiritual weapons? Wen Yu said grumpily, are you done? What's above spiritual weapons? Above spiritual weapons are divine weapons and exotic treasures. Not many people have seen that thing before. Han Fei chuckled and scratched his flattened belly. So, the three magic weapons in my hands are already very strong? No, I have to find a way to get a spiritual weapon. This is the real way to save my life. Seeing Han Fei stop, Wenren continued to preach. Usually, when you're a fisher, you can't get in touch with any combat skills and weapons. When you become a fishing master, you'll only see some low-level combat skills. And when you become a great fishing master, you've seen the heritage of our Thug Academy and countless cultivation methods. The strongest cultivation method can reach the heaven level, which is incomparable to the other three academies. Then, Wenren said seriously, and I have to tell you not to rely too much on combat skills. Combat skills are just a means of combat. When you fight, the situation changes rapidly. Sometimes the effect of low-level combat skills may not be worse than that of heaven-level combat skills. Everyone was thinking, that's true, but who doesn't want the best? Luo Xiaobai asked, mortal level, mystic level, spirit level, demon level, heaven level. What happens after that? Wenren continued, after that, it's okay to tell you. Maybe you will also have your own opportunities. Above the heaven level is the venerable level, but it's very rare. Even in the city, ordinary heavenly talents can at most get a heaven-level combat skill, or at most a venerable level. Even in a city, there won't be a heavenly talent with a venerable level combat skill. Han Fei swallowed. There are so few venerables? Han Fei suddenly realized that the indestructible body seemed to be at the venerable level. Just this deduction required 100 million points of spiritual energy. If he really deduced it, what level would it be? Han Fei asked. Teacher, is there a division of grades within each level? Wenren nodded. Not a big deal. There are only 3 grades, plus an ultra quality. Han Fei asked, is the highest grade the ultra quality? Wenren was about to nod, but Old Bai said no. It said that there is a divine quality above the ultra quality, but at least we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it, and, theoretically, it doesn't exist in the city. Even if it does exist, there are only a few people. Chapter 177. He couldn't help but feel excited. It wasn't until today that he fully understood the relationship between realms, combat skills, and weapons. He also understood why Luo Xiaobai, Xia Xiaochan, and the others were the best fighters, even though their spiritual heritage and spiritual beasts were not bad. There was no other reason. In the end, it was still the combat skills that were strong, so strong that they were explosive. Old Bai said, I just want to supplement your knowledge of the cultivation world. However, you don't have to think too much, because many things are out of reach. Okay, the 3 questions. I think you've already understood what it means to be a fishing master. Before becoming a dangling fisher, you are all cannon fodder. If you don't become a dangling fisher as the strongest fishing master, you are still cannon fodder. As for the first question and the second question, you need to study them yourself. Luo Xiaobai asked, President, about the second question, if fishing masters don't fish demonic fish, what do they fish for? Old Bai replied, it's not that we don't fish for demonic fish, but can't you fish for anything else besides demonic fish? There are billions of treasures hidden in the infinite ocean. You don't even look for treasures, but fish every day. Do you want to eat them? Old Bai looked at them speechlessly. I've already said it like that, so why can't you wrap your head around it? Old Bai left angrily. Wenren gave a weird smile, and then also left. Xiaozhan sighed and looked at them. Like you, I thought fishing was simply fishing for demonic fish, but it's not. Let me ask you, if a place in the sea is abnormally rich in spiritual energy, what will you do? Lu Renquang immediately replied, there must be something good. Of course we'll jump down and look for it. Xiaozhan's face was black. Shut up. Luo Xiaobai wondered, do we fish? Xiaozhan smiled. Can't we fish? When you enter the level 3 fishery one day, do you really think there will be fish stupidly coming to eat your fish hooks? He thought of the hexagon starfish. That thing was very cunning. When it needed his help, it would give all kinds of benefits to others. As soon as it was freed, it would run away. Han Fei thought for a moment. So, in the end, it's not that we are fishing, but that there is no limit to the kind of fishing. We can also fish for demonic fish and treasures. Anyway, we can fish for all the good things. Xiao Zhan replied, in your dreams. You have to be strong enough to do that. I won't say what kind of cultivation technique you guys use. Everyone has their own opportunities. Although the cultivation method was different, the result was the same. For example, if you practice the true spirit fishing art, you should learn how to control water. You need to fish according to the pulse of water and the intensity of spiritual energy. I don't need to teach you this kind of thing. Go and try it yourself. Everyone was taken aback. Teacher, can we go to sea now? Xiao Zhan replied. Otherwise, why would I stay here? You still want to fight in the arena? However, you need to know why you're here. I'm not asking you to fish for demonic fish, but to study your spiritual beasts thoroughly and see if you can understand the true meaning of fishing. Wow, we can finally go out to sea. Xiao Xiaochan was overjoyed. Should we go now? Luo Xiaobai's eyes glittered. No rush. Let's see if there's anything we need to prepare. Zhang Xuan, you said I need a day. I want a day too. Lu Rinquang added. Then I want a day too. You all have something to do, but I don't. I've decided to eat hot pot for a day. Xiao Xiaochan rolled her eyes at Lu Rinquang. It's not like I won't come back. Lu Rinquang smacked his lips. That's different. I'll come back to eat, and I'll leave to eat. Xiao Xiaochan was speechless. Foodie. That night, Lu Rinquang went to the hot pot restaurant. Xiao Xiaochan took Luo Xiaobai's hand and prepared to go shopping for a day. Han Fei locked himself in the cave, and no one knew what he was doing. Zhang Xuanyu disappeared magically with thousands of mid-quality pearls. The First Academy, full name Blue Sea Academy. He Xiaoyu and Wang Baiyu were both here. At this moment, He Xiaoyu was training with Wang Baiyu. She decided to become a hunter. Clang, clang, clang. Wang Baiyu suggested, He Xiaoyu, why don't you be a soul warrior? Your talent is very suitable for a soul warrior. He Xiaoyu shook her head. No, I want to be a hunter. He Xiaoyu's attacks were all blocked by Wang Baiyu in vain. However, Wang Baiyu was also very surprised. His talent should be higher than He Xiaoyu's, but why was He Xiaoyu so strong? It was completely beyond the strength that a girl should have. Just when He Xiaoyu was sweating, a girl hurriedly ran over. Xiaoyu, Xiaoyu, Han Fei from the Fourth Academy is looking for you. He seems to have a conflict with someone from our school. He Xiaoyu, huh? He Xiaoyu jumped up. I'm going to take a bath. Wang Baiyu scoffed. What bath? You've been classmates for 4 years. Haven't you seen each other? He Xiaoyu snorted. It's none of your business. At the gate of the First Academy, a group of people surrounded Han Fei. Someone said angrily, Han Fei, what do you mean? You defeated our First Academy, and now you want to provoke us? Han Fei replied, Don't flatter yourself. I'm looking for someone. The man was furious. Bullshit. Last night, Zhang Xuanyu also came to look for someone. Then, he abducted Hu Karen from the First Academy. You looking for someone again? Who do you want to abduct? Han Fei. Han Fei was dumbfounded. What? You mean Zhang Xuanyu has been here and abducted her? Han Fei recalled and immediately slapped his thigh. Danby asterisk starred. This guy really came to look for that little girl? Is he crazy? Han Fei pretended to be calm. I'm different from him. I don't abduct people. I'm looking for He Xiaoyu. As soon as he said this, dozens of people were angry. How the F asterisk CK did he say he didn't abduct people? Isn't He Xiaoyu a girl from our school? And she's a pretty girl. Not only the boys were boycotting him, but also some girls came out to defend him. Scumbag, you're obviously in love with Xia Xiaochan, but you're still hooking up with a girl from our school. Han Fei's face darkened. Girl, you have to be responsible for your words. He Xiaoyu and I are both classmates from the Heavenly Water Village. I have something to talk to her about. Can I? The girl responded, No, now our whole school is boycotting the Fourth Academy. A girl echoed, Yes, boycotting thugs. A boy sneered. Yes, I won't give you a chance to cheat on her. Han Fei was speechless. F asterisk CKU. If you keep talking, I'll beat you up. The boy immediately grasped the long knife on his waist. Sure enough, your purpose is not pure. You still want to pick a fight with me. Han Fei rolled his eyes. I don't want to talk to you. Now I know why the First Academy is so weak. Look at you. You don't cultivate but boycott this and that every day. Too much. Too arrogant. A group of people scolded him, but no one dared to hit him. They had seen the battles of the thug legend, especially Han Fei, who slapped Su Yebai half to death. They couldn't beat him, so they could only scold him. Get out of the way. What are you doing? He Xiaoyu walked out of the crowd angrily. A girl said, He Xiaoyu, we are enemies with the 4th Academy. Don't support the enemy. A girl took He Xiaoyu's hand. Yes, he wants to cheat on her. Last night, Karen was tricked by Zhang Xuanyu to go out and didn't return all night. Today, Han Fei is here. He Xiaoyu shouted, Oh, what? I'm good friends with Han Fei. We're classmates. He Xiaoyu broke free from the girl's hand and ran to Han Fei. What's wrong? Why did you suddenly come to me? Han Fei said, Let's go. Follow me. Behind him, a group of boys and girls of the 1st Academy beat their chests and stamped their feet. They couldn't resist the temptation. They could only watch Han Fei abduct He Xiaoyu. A girl suggested, They can come to our school to abduct people. Can't we abduct people from the Thug Academy? Which boy would be willing to go? Next to her, several boys put their arms around each other's shoulders. Hey, I feel that my strength has improved recently. Let's go practice? Huh? You feel it too? Yes, I feel it too. Let's practice. Well, I feel that I'm about to master the stick technique. When I master it, I'll fight my way to the 4th Academy. After a bunch of messy excuses, there was only a group of girls at the door staring at each other. And those boys snorted. Abduct Violent Cicada and Iceberg Xiaobai. Was there something wrong with those girls' brains? Xiao Xiaochan is too violent, not to mention Luo Xiaobai. She's so cold that I can't even tease her. After a moment, in a place where no one was, He Xiaoyu said shyly, Han Fei, what can I do for you? Han Fei looked serious. He had a hunch that this trip would not be simple, and the road to finding the true meaning would not be simple. Han Fei said, He Xiaoyu, I want to tell you a few things. Seeing that Han Fei was not joking, He Xiaoyu couldn't help but panic. Is there something wrong? Han Fei shook his head, not intending to tell her. Nothing. I just came to ask you to do me a few favors. He Xiaoyu. Han Fei continued. First, help me pass the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing to Wang Baiyu and Xiao Wushuang. Huh? Han Fei said with a smile. It's not a magical combat skill. Just teach it to me. Second, if you go back to the village recently, help me go to the plantation when you have time. Ask them to help old Jiang clean up the plantation. I may not go back for a while. He Xiaoyu asked worriedly, Han Fei, is there something wrong? Han Fei shook his head. What can happen to me? I just don't have time to go back for secret training. In the end, Han Fei hesitated and handed a jade slip to He Xiaoyu, saying solemnly, If one day you are no longer satisfied with the life pursuit of a great fishing master and you feel that you must become stronger, read this jade slip again. He Xiaoyu took it in surprise and wanted to check it immediately, but the jade slip didn't respond at all. Han Fei continued, You can't open it now. When you become a great fishing master, you can open it. Okay, I'm leaving. Chapter 178. At the departure port, Han Fei and the other 4 got on the fishing boats and waved goodbye to Xiao Zhan. After they flew away, Old Bai and Wen Rinyu emerged from the crowd. Wen Rinyu complained, Why me? Old Bai scoffed. Who told you to lose the rock-paper-scissors game? Wen Rinyu sighed. These people are not easy to settle down. They will definitely go to those places. Old Bai touched his beard. Then let's go. Those places can't kill them. 5 fishing boats sailed in the air. Xiao Xiaochan pointed at Han Fei and said, Why is your fishing boat so beautiful? Why is our fishing boat so ugly? Han Fei said proudly, Someone gave it to me. Xiao Xiaochan shouted, That's too much. Han Fei, I want to exchange fishing boats with you. Han Fei rolled his eyes. Go away. Didn't you hear what the teacher said? We're going to the level 2 fishery, not together. We'll meet every 3 days to exchange experiences. Xiao Xiaochan grabbed the map with one hand. But why are we going to the level 2 fishery? We can't fish normally, and we have to experience the true meaning of fishing. When we get there, we'll study our spiritual beasts first. We really haven't studied them in depth. Lu Renquang looked at Han Fei with a wretched smile. Han Fei, Give me some of the barbecue in your sea, swallowing seashell. Han Fei said grumpily, eat, eat, eat. Lu Rinquang responded with a smile. Otherwise, how lonely it is to be alone on the sea. While everyone was chatting, only Zhang Xuanyu's breathing was unstable, and he seemed a little excited. Han Fei asked contemptuously, Zhang Xuanyu, tell me honestly, where did you go last night? Zhang Xuanyu said faintly, I went to do what a man should do. Xia Xiaochan wondered, what should a man do? Han Fei shrugged. Forget it, Xia Xiaochan. You have to study your giant arowana. That thing attacks indiscriminately. It's a bit troublesome. Xia Xiaochan sighed. I can't control it. It doesn't listen to me. Everyone, Luo Xiaobai frowned. Why doesn't it listen to you? The Blue Sea town was a bit far from the level 2 fishery, unlike the level 3 fishery, where there was a teleportation array. In the level 2 fishery, they could only fly. About 4 hours later, they arrived at the level 2 fishery. The level 2 fishery was much larger than the level 1 fishery. It was a ring that surrounded both the ordinary fishery and the level 1 fishery. Because it was too vast, no one could be seen on the surface of the sea. Perhaps in the Blue Sea arena, one could see great fishing masters every day. But walking on the streets of the Blue Sea town, great fishing masters were rare. Even though there were many great fishing masters, how vast was the level 2 fishery? The probability of them meeting each other was not high. As soon as the fishing boat landed on the water, Luo Xiaobai pointed at the map and said, Everyone should know where we are now, right? 3 days later, we will gather here again. Be careful, Xia Xiaochan said cheerfully. I'm leaving, Lu Rinquang muttered. It's so troublesome to run around. Anyway, we're all studying spiritual beasts. I'll stay here and wait for you to return in 3 days. Han Fei, my barbecue. Han Fei helplessly took out a handful of barbecue and handed it over. Eat, eat. Don't sleep on the sea for 3 days. Luo Xiaobai said, I'm going north. Zhang Xuanyu. Why don't you go into the water? The ocean. Treasures. All the good things are down there. Han Fei suddenly looked at Zhang Xuanyu. This kid is good. What high level of awareness. Han Fei said, Ahem, you, we have to study at least for the first 3 days. You have to go to the sea. Otherwise, as soon as you come down, you'll be gone on a treasure hunt. Zhang Xuanyu nodded. That seems to make sense. Then how many days later? Han Fei said leisurely, in a few days. Luo Xiaobai said with a black face, Let's complete the task assigned by our teacher first. We'll exchange our experiences in 3 days. Han Fei shrugged. Okay. Then I'm going south. In the blink of an eye, everyone went their separate ways, except for Lu Rinquang, who stayed where he was. After running for about 100 kilometers, Han Fei stopped the fishing boat. With a flash between his eyebrows, Little Black and Little White ran out around him. Level 17? When did you upgrade? Why didn't I know? While Han Fei was stunned, the 2 little fish plunged into the water. Come back. Han Fei's face was black. I haven't been in the water for 2 or 3 months. Do you have to be so excited? Little White obediently flew back to Han Fei's side. But Little Black was never obedient and didn't respond for a long time. Just when Han Fei was about to take them back, waves rose in the water, and he saw Little Black holding a big fish nearly 2 meters long in his mouth. Name, strip fish, introduction, a common fish in the level 2 fishery. Its dorsal fins are like swords. From head to tail, it has extremely fast speed and strong jumping ability. Level 24 quality regular contains spiritual energy greater than 187 points. Collectible ordinary fin sword absorbable. Han Fei looked at Little Black speechlessly. Did I ask you to catch fish? As soon as you entered the sea, you caught a fish. You're only level 17. Little Black held the strip fish in front of Han Fei as if asking for credit. Han Fei looked at the strip fish whose back was almost bitten through and casually kicked it to the deck. Han Fei didn't panic. Anyway, he had come down. Wasn't it just a matter of time before he went into the sea? Han Fei said, Little Black, show me your abilities, except for invisibility and biting. Little Black circled around Han Fei, blinked his eyes, and suddenly opened his mouth. Han Fei was startled by her words. The little fish's mouth, which was originally the size of a cherry, was even bigger than a palm. Han Fei's eyes widened. What the F***CK? The teacher was right. This little thing did have a lot of secrets. How the F***CK did it open its mouth? Unfortunately, Rin, hadn't seen this scene yet. Otherwise, she would have been scared to death. Although spiritual beasts could communicate with their masters. However, in many cases, spiritual beasts themselves didn't know what abilities they had. They were just using their abilities instinctively. It was for this reason that they needed to be explored. How could it be like Han Fei? How could a spiritual beast show him its new ability just by asking? Han Fei swallowed. What else? What other abilities do you have besides having a big mouth? Little Black circled twice in confusion and suddenly opened his mouth again. This time, it was even more exaggerated, directly opening his mouth to the size of a wash basin. Han Fei was startled again and immediately said angrily, "Do you have any other advantages besides having a big mouth? For example, can you dig for treasures, find treasures, catch exotic demonic fish, and so on?" Little Black was even more confused. He felt that maybe his mouth was not big enough. The next moment, Little Black's body suddenly became at least 3 times bigger. When he opened his big mouth, he could swallow people. F***CK. Han Fei sat on the deck. Little Black? It should be called Big Black. But he was also surprised. Little Black could become bigger? Han Fei asked. Little Black, how big can you become? This time, Little Black seemed to move. His body became bigger and bigger, reaching about 5 times his original size. But even if it was 5 times bigger, it was still less than 2 meters long. After trying for a while, Han Fei found that this guy had no other abilities except for growing bigger and smaller and opening his mouth wide. However, this guy was very good at eating. The whole strip fish lying on the deck was swallowed by him. However, this guy's body size didn't change at all. Han Fei didn't know where he ate. Then Han Fei looked at Little White with a smile. Little White, what abilities do you have? Can you show me? Little White blinked its eyes and spat a mouthful of pure spiritual energy at Han Fei. Han Fei grabbed the spiritual energy, swallowed it into his mouth, and said, Little White, what else can you do? Little White thought Han Fei wanted to see him grow bigger. So it also grew bigger, almost the same size as Little Black, but Little White refused to open its mouth wide. Han Fei was speechless. Come back smaller, come back smaller. You look better when you are smaller. Han Fei took out a low-quality spiritual stone and said patiently, Little White, apart from growing bigger and smaller, what other abilities do you have? For example, looking for treasures, digging treasures, and so on? Little White stared at the spiritual stone for a while, but Little Black suddenly came up and swallowed the spiritual stone in one gulp. He even chewed it in the corner of his mouth, which had a crunchy feeling. Han Fei immediately said angrily, What are you doing? My low-quality spiritual stone. You foodie, you can eat even more than Lurinquan. But just after Little Black ate the low-quality spiritual stone, Little White spat out a string of pure spiritual energy, which seemed to be purer than the spiritual stone. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. He had long noticed this. In the past, he thought that when Little Black was full, Little White wouldn't spit out spiritual energy. But now it could keep spitting out? But after a while, when Little White stopped spitting out spiritual energy, Han Fei found that a low-quality spiritual stone should have nearly 10,000 points of spiritual energy. But after Little White spat out, there were only 6,000 points left. The point was that Han Fei couldn't absorb these 6,000 points of spiritual energy. His upper limit of spiritual energy had reached 2,199 points, so his body could only bear this much. The rest would be used to store spiritual energy, which was equivalent to a loss for him. The only consolation was that the spiritual energy spat out by Little White nourished his body better than what he could get through cultivation. Han Fei asked, Anything else? Chapter 179. Han Fei knew that Little White had another ability, which was to find spiritual energy. He had seen this when he was in the undersea mine. It was Little White who led him to the spiritual stones. Little White jumped into the water. Seeing Little White jump, Little Black also jumped in. Then, Little White swam in one direction with Han Fei. Han Fei frowned. Are they looking for treasures or spiritual energy? After running with Little White for about half an hour, Little White stopped running and began to spin in place. Han Fei frowned and took out his fishing rod without saying a word. Although Old Bai didn't allow them to bring bait this time. After transmitting spiritual energy to the fishing rod, Han Fei could feel a small area underwater through the fishing rod. This was the exclusive ability of void fishing, which others didn't have. The fishing rod went deeper and deeper, sinking nearly 200 meters. Suddenly, Han Fei saw a golden squid fly out with a swish and disappear without a trace in the blink of an eye. Shit. Han Fei didn't know what squid it was, but judging from its speed of escape and its instantaneous reaction, it was definitely not an ordinary squid. Does Little White have the ability to find rare or even exotic creatures? Han Fei looked at Little White with a strange look. If it had this ability, wouldn't he be able to make countless of these creatures? Let them fuse with each other and turn them into mysterious creatures, legendary creatures, or even stronger creatures. Han Fei said hurriedly, "Little White, can you still find it?" Han Fei's eyes were shining, and he felt that he was going to make a fortune. The image of himself controlling a large army of legendary creatures appeared in his mind. If that happened, wouldn't the ocean become his home field? If he met an enemy, he would release hundreds of legendary creatures to kill him. Would he be afraid? Little White hesitated for a long time and finally didn't move. Han Fei sensed that Little White couldn't find the other party. Han Fei regretted it. There was once an exotic creature in front of me, but I didn't cherish it. When I scared it away, I regretted it. Unable to find the squid, Han Fei just experimented with the water vein technique for a while and then put away the fishing pole. If the first and second levels of void fishing taught people how to fish, then the third level, water vein technique, taught people how to turn the hook and the fishing line into the pulse of water. In this case, the hook could approach the fish quietly and catch them with the help of the fishing method. However, after trying a few times, it didn't seem to work very well. It was probably because he hadn't grasped the essence. Out of 10 attempts, only one succeeded. Han Fei was not in the mood to practice. He asked Little White many times if he could find squid. In the end, that damned squid seemed to have disappeared, and there was no way to find it. Han Fei lay down on the deck, face up. Don't you have any other abilities? How the hell was he supposed to dig? I can't turn into a fish, can I? Thinking about it, Han Fei was a little confused. If he had known this, he would have gone to the bottom of the sea to dig for treasures with Zhang Xuanyu. For some reason, a wave of drowsiness washed over him, and he fell asleep on the deck. Suddenly, Han Fei shuddered and opened his eyes. As soon as he opened his eyes, he was startled. The world he saw was grotesque. He saw plankton of all shapes and sizes, and he saw a huge fish swimming past his eyes. What's going on? Han Fei wanted to shout, but a string of bubbles came out of his mouth. Han Fei. Han Fei wanted to turn his head, but he couldn't feel his legs at all. Tail? I have a F***king tail. Damn, Little White. Han Fei saw Little White circling around him. However, Lil White's head had become extremely big, and it didn't look beautiful anymore. Wow, did I become Little Black? Han Fei was stunned. This was a very wonderful experience. He became a fish, swimming with fins and tail, and the vision of his eyes changed, just like the vision of taking a picture from the bottom up or from the top down. It was similar. Where am I? Han Fei wagged his tail and swam, opening his mouth to drink a mouthful of seawater from time to time. Then his cheeks began to open, and the scales on his body also slightly opened. After absorbing oxygen from the water, he continued to close his mouth. Han Fei was stunned and didn't know what to do for a while. I become Little Black. What about me? For a moment, he wondered if he was dreaming. But how could a dream be like this? When a fish that looked about the same size as him swam past him, Han Fei was dumbfounded. Name: Bone Spur Fish, Primitive Spiritual Beast. Introduction: has bone spurs, extremely strong attack power, and attacks often catch people off guard. Level 13, quality, regular, contains soul energy greater than 152 points. Howl. Feeling that his body was out of control, he rushed up and bit it until the innocent bone spur fish was bitten into pieces. Then Han Fei regained control of his body. What the F asterisk CK? Who can explain to me why? What the hell is this place? What the hell is a primitive spiritual beast? Huh? Why do I feel a little stronger? Is it because I ate that fish? There seemed to be no concept of time here. Han Fei felt that he had swum for a long time and eaten several fish. There were some that he wanted to eat, but they also ran very fast. Han Fei saw many unknown fish, shrimps, and crabs, as well as familiar ones, such as spirit-chasing shrimp, cold flame turtles, and lightning crabs. These were all F asterisk king primitive spiritual beasts. At this point, an extremely shocking idea emerged in Han Fei's mind. Isn't this the level 2 fishery? Is this the sea where Little Black and Little White came from? When he was awakened, Han Fei saw this sea. At that time, there was a film between him and this sea. Countless kinds of fish seemed to want to pass through the film, but in the end, only Little Black and Little White passed through. Yes, that's the sea. This should be Soul Ocean. After figuring this out, Han Fei was stunned. What's going on? How did I come here? And I become Little Black? If this is the Soul Ocean, doesn't it mean that these things in front of me are all spiritual beasts? Han Fei swore that he had never seen so many spiritual beasts before. Han Fei was a little anxious. If he became Little Black, where was he? Or could it be that his soul was attached to Black's body? At this time, Han Fei saw a huge monster swimming past him. He took a closer look. What's that? A golden dragon? An arowana? F asterisk CK. What the hell is this place? Han Fei trembled with fear. He saw a huge arowana swimming past him. Name, Golden Arowana, primitive spiritual beast. Introduction, it has a trace of golden dragon bloodline. After awakening, its quality will mutate, and its attack power will be extremely strong. Level 29, quality, exotic, contains soul energy greater than 360 points this time. Little Black didn't rush up to bite it, because he might not be able to bite it. Han Fei frowned. Little Black is so arrogant that it will bite whoever it catches. Will it be eaten by other spiritual beasts in this damn place? After observing for a while, Han Fei was relieved. It turned out that under normal circumstances, these spiritual beasts would not attack each other. But it was not absolute. Han Fei saw a mantis shrimp attacking other spiritual beasts and smashing them to death with a hammer. Then he dragged them back to his cave and began to eat. At this moment, countless thoughts flashed through Han Fei's mind. If the spiritual beasts were in this kind of environment, wouldn't they be in danger of dying at any time? But in the real world, he had never heard of anyone's spiritual beast dying inexplicably. No, there must be something wrong. Trying it out, Han Fei picked a swordfish spiritual beast after a long time and took a few bites. The swordfish spiritual beast felt pain and then fled, not intending to fight with Little Black at all. After that, Han Fei ran to another spirit swallowing fish of the same kind. He wandered in front of the spirit swallowing fish, but the fish didn't seem to see him. Han Fei suddenly understood. Damn, I forgot about Little Black's invisibility. Can I enter Little White's body? As soon as he thought of this, Han Fei felt dizzy. His identity changed, and he saw Little Black's whole body. I become Little White? Haha, interesting. Can I switch between these two little guys? Han Fei was not as flustered as he was at first. Since he could come here, there must be a reason. After eating a few fishes, Han Fei felt very energetic. At this moment, he controlled Little White's body and swam to the spirit swallowing fish. However, something unexpected happened. This spirit swallowing fish still couldn't see him. He could understand that it couldn't see Little Black because Little Black was invisible, but it couldn't see Little White. Chapter 180. Suddenly, Han Fei's heart began to race. He had another bold idea. The spiritual beasts that had been awakened and summoned were invisible in the Soul Ocean. The primitive spiritual beasts in the Soul Ocean couldn't be seen at all. In order to confirm this idea, Han Fei ran to the swordfish and swam in front of it. It was okay. He plucked up his courage and swam in front of the crayfish. It was okay. In the end, he chased a golden arowana and swam in front of its eyeball for a long time, but it still didn't react. However, maybe Han Fei swam too fast. His tail slapped the golden arawana's eyeball, and he was knocked away by the golden arowana. Ha ha! I'm rich. I'm rich. Since other primitive spiritual beasts can't see me, can I eat them? Han Fei immediately thought of something and returned to Little Black. This time, all the fish that passed by Han Fei went up and gnawed on them. At first, the primitive spiritual beasts that were gnawed just fled in a hurry. In the end, the sudden death of many spiritual beasts finally attracted the attention of other primitive spiritual beasts in this water area. Immediately, the primitive spiritual beasts in this area began to panic. But Han Fei didn't feel anything. He felt as if his brain had been washed by cold water just now. And then he felt that his strength had increased greatly, mainly because of the increase in his bite force. Upgraded, Han Fei was so excited that he couldn't control himself. Originally, he had to feed Little Black every day and slowly let it evolve. As a result, although its advancement speed wasn't very slow, it only leveled up once in a few months. But when he came to this old ocean and casually ate a few primitive spiritual beasts, he leveled up once. What if he continued to eat? When Han Fei ate nearly 30 primitive spiritual beasts again, he leveled up again. At this time, this area was in an uproar. All the primitive spiritual beasts were fleeing in panic. But Han Fei didn't care. Where can you run to? You're in the light. I'm in the dark. Do you think I'm afraid of you? This time, Han Fei's target changed. He began to choose those exotic and even rare spiritual beasts. Pearl fish, spirit-chasing shrimp, sapphire crab, lightning squid. Although it took him a long time to catch these rare spiritual beasts, he leveled up again after eating only 12 of them. Little Black and Little White directly broke through to level 20. After that, it was still the same. He didn't know how long it had been, but when Little Black and Little White reached level 22, there was not a single fish left. They had all run away. Han Fei was a bit puzzled. There were too few primitive spiritual beasts in his soul ocean. Why is it so weak? Should we move to another place? After swimming for a long time, Han Fei suddenly saw a flash in front of his eyes, and a squid full of tentacles appeared. Name Iron Hook Squid Sun Yang's spiritual beast introduction. The tentacles are like hooks, and the hooks are poisonous. Once you get close, it will be very difficult to escape. Level 27 quality. Rare contains soul power 362 points. Someone else's spiritual beast? Han Fei was hesitating. Should I eat other people's spiritual beasts? Can other people's spiritual beasts be eaten? I can see it. Could it be that the summoned spiritual beasts could see each other in the soul sea? Han Fei thought for a while. Should I take a bite? The iron hook squid also saw Whitey and suddenly hooked over with its hook. Han Fei was shocked. What? I'm still considering whether to eat you or not. How dare you take the initiative to attack me? Whitey's speed was extremely fast, and it quickly dodged. But Han Fei was angry. I didn't intend to eat you, but you attacked me first. But you were the one who attacked first, so you can't blame me. Immediately, Han Fei rushed up and bit off a squid's tentacle. Just when he was about to continue, the spiritual beast swooshed away at an extremely fast speed. Han Fei chased it all the way, but unfortunately, because it could see Whitey, it ran extremely fast. After chasing for a while, Han Fei gave up. This kind of spiritual beast seemed to have some intelligence. Otherwise, it wouldn't have started to escape as soon as it suffered a loss. After swimming for a while, when a large number of primitive spiritual beasts appeared around Han Fei, he began to devour them crazily again. Just when Han Fei felt that he might upgrade at any time, suddenly, Han Fei felt dizzy. When he woke up again, he found that he was sleeping on the deck. Huh? Out of the soul sea? Why? At this moment, Han Fei suddenly thought of something. He jumped up from the deck, and the two knives in his hands instantly shot out. Someone's here. As soon as Han Fei dodged, an arrow was nailed to the place where he had just slept. Who? Which bastard dares to ruin my plan? Dozens of meters away, a fishing boat was approaching. On the bow of the boat, a man held a longbow and shot 3 arrows again, trying to kill Han Fei. Clang, clang, clang. The 3 arrows were easily blocked by Han Fei. Han Fei twisted his wrist slightly. An advanced great fishing master? The man's face seemed to be full of surprise. He failed to kill him in the state of sneak attack? Run. Needless to say, those who could come to the level 2 fishery were all at least great fishing masters. This man's sneak attack failed, so the first thing he thought of was to run. Want to run now? Do you think I don't exist? Han Fei walked on the wind, waved the fishing rod in his hand, and entangled the man in the blink of an eye. Immediately, the 2 knives in his hands broke through the air and drew a strange arc in the air. Clang! The man raised his bow to block, but the next moment, the longbow that had accompanied him for many years was directly cut off. Magic weapon? The man exclaimed, pulled out a dagger, and hurriedly cut the fishing line that entangled him. However, the fishing line quickly loosened and was taken back by Han Fei. The 2 knives fell back into his hands, and Han Fei had already stepped onto the man's boat. Little brother, let's talk. Spare my life, and I will repay you. Han Fei grinned. How? Just at the moment when Han Fei smiled, the man attacked again, and Han Fei saw a squid instantly fuse. Han Fei was surprised. Iron hook squid? Han Fei was sure that this was definitely an iron hook squid, which he had just seen. Smack! In the air, a big seal phantom slapped down, and the water-stirring seal appeared extremely fast, catching people off guard. At this moment, it smashed the cabin and directly smashed the man into the water. Han Fei put away the water-stirring seal. It seemed that he had used too much force. He hadn't seen what it looked like underwater in the level 2 fishery. Was this man smashed to death? Han Fei stood on the boat and watched for a while. After a few minutes, a head suddenly popped out of the sea, his face covered with blood. Help! Help me! Han Fei didn't move. Standing on a bow, he asked thoughtfully, Is your name Sun Yang? Yes. Help! Help! The next moment, Sun Yang seemed to be dragged into the sea by something and could never come up again. I hate untrustworthy people like you the most. Han Fei was not surprised. Back then, after Suyabai was hit by the water-stirring seal, he passed out. It was not easy for Sun Yang to persist underwater for so long. However, his name was Sun Yang? That was amazing. It was no coincidence that he saw his iron hook squid in the Soul Ocean, and then met its owner as soon as he woke up. Han Fei felt that he had discovered a big secret, an extremely terrifying secret. When a person was close to him, then the distance between their spiritual beasts in the Soul Ocean was also very close. The key of the secret was not this, but why could he enter the world where his spiritual beasts were? Since he could enter, could others enter as well? If everyone could enter, then wouldn't the Soul Ocean also have no guarantee of safety? Regarding this question, he decided to test it when the 5 of them reunited 3 days later. Then, when Han Fei tried to enter the Soul Ocean again, unfortunately, he couldn't. No matter if he was lying, sleeping, or in a daze, he couldn't enter. Little Black and Little White, like 2 fools, didn't understand what Han Fei meant at all. They might not even know that they had just been possessed. But Han Fei found that Little Black and Little White had now reached level 22. How long had it been? Looking at the sky, it was probably less than half an hour. And a few months ago, they had just leveled up by 1 level. Han Fei was shocked. In half an hour, they suddenly went from level 17 to level 22. Just how shocking was this leveling speed? Chapter 181. After Han Fei struggled for a long time, the day had turned into night. Today the sea was stormy and the wind was howling. The 3 big moons were half obscured by clouds, and Han Fei's fishing boat was still drifting on the sea. During the day, he didn't feel much difference between the level 1 fishery and the level 2 fishery. Although occasionally some stupid big fish would break out of the water and attack Han Fei for no reason, they were no match for him at all. However, they were no match for him at all, and there were no big shrimps like the tentacle lobster climbing onto the fishing boat. But at night, everything was different. The wind and waves were beating, and from time to time, some squid and cuttlefish would stick to the fishing boat. Unlike the squid and cuttlefish in the ordinary fishery, these squids were very fierce. Smack! A few tentacles several meters long slapped on the deck, and Han Fei's double knives didn't stop. Since nightfall, he had been slashing, and there were hundreds of tentacles in Forge the Universe at this moment. Meow, are you done yet? Can't I have a peaceful night? Little Black, bite them, bite these dogs to death. While cursing, Han Fei chopped the annoying tentacles. He raised his knife, and the tentacles fell off. In fact, each tentacle was actually extremely powerful, and each claw had the force of 1,000 kilograms. If Han Fei didn't have the double knives in his hands, although he could still fight, it would definitely not be as easy as it was now. About 2 hours later, Han Fei was speechless. The entire boat was almost covered with squids. The only thing that Han Fei was glad about was that squids were not octopuses. Otherwise, they would be more terrifying than squids. When there were so many squid tentacles that Han Fei didn't want to stuff into Forge the Universe. The whole boat was full of them. Little Black couldn't even eat all of them, so Han Fei could only kick them all into the sea. Suddenly, Han Fei saw Little White anxiously circling around him. His expression changed slightly. Something's here. The next moment, a pale golden phantom swept over in the blink of an eye, and a tentacle swept over. With a sweep, countless tentacles on the hull were gone. Even a squid that had almost climbed onto the boat in front of Han Fei was pulled away. The huge force pulled the fishing boat forward quickly. Han Fei's face changed slightly. Is it the golden squid? Han Fei was shocked. I've been looking for you for a long time, but I couldn't find you. Now you've come to me? Swish, ignoring the tentacles, while the golden squid was hunting, Han Fei plunged his fishing hook in the water and used the 1,000 twining technique to tie up the squid that was dragged into the water. The moment the fish hook entered the water, the golden cuttlefish did not notice it at first because of the wind and waves and the water vane technique. As soon as the 1,000 coiling silk was activated, it immediately let go of the cuttlefish and tried to escape. Hey, do you think I'll let you escape? The 1,000 twining threads instantly tightened, directly binding the golden squid's 3 tentacles in one go. There seemed to be a strange sound underwater. Han Fei was surprised. Could squids make sounds? What kind of squid are you? Buzz. In the blink of an eye, Han Fei was pulled forward and the fishing rod almost fell out of his hand. When Han Fei realized what had happened, he found that the fishing line had been pulled 100 meters away. Damn, so fast. It seemed that his feet were too weak and there were too many tentacles around him. Han Fei gritted his teeth, and the fishing boat disappeared instantly, and his whole body was directly thrown dozens of meters away. Plop! Han Fei fell into the sea. Just at the moment when he entered the sea, countless claws stretched out around him. Kill! Little Black. A cold light flashed, and 5 or 6 tentacles were cut off. Immediately, a water wall appeared in the water, and a water control technique directly blocked dozens of tentacles. Then Han Fei was dragged into the deep sea. Along the way, Han Fei used the wandering dragon art. He grabbed the fishing rod with one hand and made all kinds of strange movements with his body to block various tentacles. Striped fish, bony spur fish, big-headed prawns, and schools of fish. There were countless marine creatures here, much more than in ordinary fisheries. Although there were many marine creatures in ordinary fisheries, they were definitely not so dense. However, in this damn place, the wind and waves were roaring, but the underwater scene was so chaotic. However, Han Fei was certainly not afraid. He couldn't let go of what he had already caught. He used the hook kiss technique to make the hook deeply sink into the body of the golden squid. Han Fei reeled in the line abruptly, only to be pulled towards the golden squid. Swish! Han Fei gritted his teeth. It's too fast, this thing is running too fast. The nearby schools of fish can't catch up with it. Some squid have just stretched out their tentacles, and Han Fei has already appeared 20 meters away. What the hell is this squid? How can it run so fast? After a while, Han Fei didn't know where he was. He only saw a large group of corals under the sea, and the squid was dragging him against the corals. BM, BM, BM. The sand on the seabed flew, and the coral shattered. Han Fei didn't know how many corals he had smashed. At this moment, full of anger, he pulled the fishing rod even harder. After a while, he already saw the golden squid more than 10 meters away. It was nearly 3 meters long, and because it ran so fast, the watermarks it left along the way were like knives. But a series of data appeared in front of Han Fei's eyes. Name: Golden Squid. Introduction: a product of the evolution and mutation of the lightning squid. It is as timid as a mouse and extremely fast. There is a bone in its body that can be used to refine spiritual weapons. Level 23, quality, exotic, contains spiritual energy greater than 468 points. Edible effect: you can learn the speed talent after eating it. Collectible squid bone. Absorbable. Han Fei smiled. Exotic creature. No wonder it's so awesome. If it hadn't come to him, he wouldn't have been able to catch it. Puff! Just as Han Fei was smiling, he heard a noise in front of him, and then a large mass of black ink appeared. Shit! Squid, also known as cuttlefish, had ink sacs in its body. Usually, when it encountered danger, it would spit out the ink sacs and start to escape. At this moment, Han Fei plunged into the mass of black ink. At that moment, Han Fei felt like throwing up. His head was a bit dizzy and the world was spinning. Poisonous? Paralyzing effect. Han Fei felt that his head was twice as big as his head. Although he had taken the exotic poisonous fruit, this damn thing was not poisonous, or it could only be said to be half poisonous, so he couldn't completely resist it. Fortunately, the paralyzing effect of his body was being relieved, but the feeling of vomiting lingered for a long time. Squeak. The golden squid in front was anxious and seemed to be thinking, why can't I get rid of this thing? Universe/swish in the water. A cold knife light rushed out and penetrated the golden squid's body in an instant. BM. The golden squid directly crashed into a coral pile. Han Fei put away the knife and quickly came to its side. At this time, this guy finally remembered to use its tentacles. Puff! When a tentacle was cut off by Han Fei, the golden squid squeaked in pain and continued to run with strength that came from nowhere. But now it was not so easy to run. After 100 minutes, the golden squid's 10 tentacles were cut off by Han Fei, leaving only the 3 entangled by the fishing hook. Han Fei stood in front of this big squid. Run, keep running. If you have the guts, keep running. I can't catch you. Collect the demon. The golden squid, which had already had 7 tentacles cut off, was cut off again by Han Fei. At this moment, it was extremely weak, so the demon purification pot had no problem collecting the demon. Han Fei swam to the sea surface contentedly. He didn't have time to think too much. There were many seabed creatures in the level 2 fishery. At this moment, he saw a dragon-headed fish with a hideous head rushing at him. BM. Han Fei held the water-stirring seal in his hand and smashed the dragon-headed fish to death with one blow, continuing to swim upward. Along the way, Han Fei encountered dragon-headed fish, human face crabs, but to his surprise, he was almost killed by the human face crab, because at that moment, he saw an illusion. There were countless tentacles around him, so dense that he couldn't count them at all. If Little Black hadn't attacked the human face crab, Han Fei would have been entangled in the water for a while. Puff! The white fishing boat appeared on the sea. Han Fei lay on the boat and gasped for breath. It was really not easy to catch exotic creatures, far more difficult than rare creatures. Chapter 182. After lying on the fishing boat for less than 5 minutes, Han Fei felt movement under the boat. Needless to say, it was definitely those damn squids. Little Black, bite me. Hey no, I seem to have forgotten about Nine Tails. A shadow flashed on Han Fei's arm, and the nine-tailed mantis shrimp appeared. It froze for a moment, and then saw a tentacle stretch over from the side of the boat. Without hesitation, Nine Tails hooked the tentacle with its 2 claws and began its squid tentacle movement. Guard the boat. If you dare to be naughty again, I'll stew you and eat shrimp meat. Han Fei finally knew why he selectively forgot this thing. If he let it possess him to fight, he would be a first-class fighter. If he let it out, it would definitely not be a good thing. But when it didn't come out, it began to attack the squid tentacles. Under the water, the squid was probably also stunned at this moment. What on earth did my tentacles go through? 5 or 6 angry tentacles emerged at once. Nine Tails froze for a moment. It seemed to have roared too much. With a flick of its tail, 4 or 5 tentacles broke off and fell on the deck. Han Fei leaned against the cabin and shouted to Nine Tails, "Stop fighting. Here, the tentacles are coming again." After a long time, Han Fei occasionally waved his knife. Nine Tails, who hadn't come out for a long time, was so excited that he ran all over the boat. Although those tentacles were not weak, Nine Tails was also a legendary creature. Although it hadn't fully evolved, ordinary squids couldn't deal with it. At this moment, Han Fei's Forge the Universe had been stuffed with tentacles. He decided to take these tentacles back to the barbecue stall of the fish dragons. With so many tentacles, he could sell them for a lot of money. About in the early morning, 4 hours before dawn, Han Fei saw a big fish on the sea, which jumped out of the sea with a plop and was dozens of meters long. Han Fei was stunned. What the hell is that? How could there be such a big whale in a level 2 fishery? Are you kidding me? The big fish swam straight to Han Fei's fishing boat. Han Fei was dumbfounded and hurriedly tried to control the fishing boat to escape. Roar! A sound similar to a dragon's roar sounded. Han Fei turned around and roared. Giant arowana? The only big fish he had seen so far that could make such a sound was Xia Xiaochan's giant arowana. A moment later, Han Fei saw Xia Xiaochan sitting diagonally on the back of the big fish, kicking the water with her 2 little feet. As for the squids, they all avoided the giant arawana's legs, making Xia Xiaochan look like a whale girl kicking the water uncomfortably. At this moment, Xia Xiaochan was waving at him. After Xia Xiaochan jumped on the fishing boat, she saw the 9-tailed mantis shrimp running around, wagging its tail wildly. Han Fei didn't even have time to pick up the tentacles all over the boat. Xia Xiaochan immediately sat on the ground. "Fortunately, your boat is strong. Why are you here? Where's your ship?" Xia Xiaochan looked at the tentacles on the side. "They're sinking. The level 2 fishery won't always be like this, right? I heard that others stay in the level 2 fishery for days at a time. Why did so many cuttlefish appear as soon as we arrived?" Xia Xiaochan asked. "Who knows? He was just unlucky. Anything could happen in the fishery. If we have time to take off, it doesn't matter. We can avoid them by driving the fishing boat to the mixed area. Then why don't you go with them? Only with challenges can there be growth." "Oh, forget it. Is there any barbecue? I'm hungry." Han Fei took out a few skewers of barbecue from his sea-swallowing seashell and handed them to Xia Xiaochan. Han Fei chuckled in his heart. "You almost destroyed your boat, but this giant arowana is really amazing. It's a bit too strong." Xia Xiaochan took a bite of garlic prawns. Delicious. By the way, why are you here? I remember you seem to be going south or west. Not in the same direction as me, right?" Han Fei snorted. "I'm floating on the sea. How do I know where I'm floating to?" It wasn't that Han Fei felt he needed to hide the fact that he had caught an exotic creature. The point was that the golden squid was lying in the demon purification pot, and he couldn't take it out now. Xia Xiaochan looked at the 9-tailed mantis shrimp and commented, "Your mantis shrimp is not bad. With it guarding the boat, you don't need to do anything." Han Fei asked with a smile, "Have you ever considered catching a contractual spiritual fish?" Xia Xiaochan shook her head indifferently. "I don't like any. The rare ones are useless, and I can't catch any exotic ones. I thought I would catch one in the level 2 fishery." Han Fei nodded. This was true. Among the 5 of them, only he had a contractual spiritual beast. But Han Fei knew that the 9-tailed mantis shrimp and he were not in a contractual relationship, but others didn't know. Xia Xiaochan and the others didn't. They should all be waiting to catch a powerful contractual spiritual beast. Xia Xiaochan suddenly asked, "Let's go find Quang Quang." Han Fei asked, "What about Xiaobai and Zhang Xuanyu?" Xia Xiaochan asked, "Xiaobai is a manipulator. It was impossible for these squids to hurt her. Zhang Xuanyu has a bloodthirsty shark. Even if his fishing boat sinks, he can ride a big shark and wander on the sea like me. Kwang Kwang is different. His spiritual clam can't swim. Han Fei nodded. Since he had met Xia Xiaochan, he didn't need to practice the water vein technique. Han Fei felt that he had almost finished studying his spiritual beast. As for the true meaning of fishing that Olbai mentioned, he really didn't find it. He couldn't just throw the hook into the sea and catch it blindly, could he? Luren Kwang was helpless. What did he do to deserve this? Were these squids sick? They didn't want to stay in such a large sea, but climbed onto the boat. In the dark, there was a magical scene. The fishing boat under Luren Kwang's feet was full of weapons floating in all directions. In terms of group battles, Armorists even had an advantage over soul warriors. All kinds of swords and knives were dancing, and tentacles were flying in the sky. When Han Fei arrived, the fishing boat under Luren Kwang's feet was riddled with holes, not torn by the squids, but by his own weapons. Seeing Han Fei's fishing boat, Luren Kwang immediately greeted him. "Oh, Han Fei, I miss you so much. Come and help me." A few minutes later, the three of them were sitting on Han Fei's fishing boat and eating barbecue. Luren Kwang's fishing boat gradually began to seep and had sunk halfway. Luren Kwang muttered, "Why is our fishing boat so broken? No, I have to find a way to dig some wood from the bottom of the sea and build my own fishing boat." The night passed. Of the 5 people's fishing boats, 3 had sunk. Soon after dawn, Zhang Xuanyu came back riding a shark. Then, less than half an hour later, Luo Xiaobai came back. Luo Xiaobai's fishing boat was also almost broken. She got on Han Fei's fishing boat and saw the 4 of them were all there. She couldn't help asking, "When did you come back?" Zhang Xuanyu replied, "I came back when the fishing boat was broken. That fishing boat is too weak. I was almost dragged down by those damn squids." Luo Xiaobai added, "Last night was a special situation, but now there is only one fishing boat left. Why don't we act together?" Han Fei suggested, "Let's not run around and discuss how our research on spiritual beasts is going." Luren Kwang muttered, "What can I do? My spiritual vitality clam can absorb spiritual qi very quickly. Its defense is extremely strong. Well, but yesterday I found that it can change color. It can become the same color as the squids." Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. There are so many creatures that can change color. There are at least 8,000 kinds of creatures in the sea that can change color. What kind of ability is this? Luo Xiaobai replied, "No, this is also an ability. At least it proves that the spiritual clam has a camouflage ability. My blue cannibal flower can release a wide range of paralyzing venom. It was because of this venom that I was safe last night." Xia Xiaochan added, "It seems that everyone has a new understanding of spiritual beasts." With that, Xia Xiaochan's figure disappeared and appeared directly on the bow of the boat. "Shit! What the hell is this ability?" Everyone was stunned, including Han Fei. "This speed is too fast. Is it a shadow? This speed is too fast." In the blink of an eye, she disappeared. Xia Xiaochan explained, "This is the special ability of Shadow Shrimp. It can move to any place within 100 meters in an instant." Everyone, Zhang Xuanyu suddenly pointed to the big shark in the water and said angrily, "Look at it, and then look at yourself. I don't even want to talk about you. You're so big, but you're useless." After cursing for a long time, Zhang Xuanyu shrugged and said, "I can control some low-level creatures. I can attach a trace of spiritual energy to these creatures. But the rare ones are more difficult to control and have a high probability of failure." Everyone, Han Fei was taken aback. "So, you can become a fish?" Zhang Xuanyu explained, "No, I'm still me, but I can control a fish. Then I'll have 2 visions at the same time." Everyone was surprised. What would it be like to have the vision of a fish? Only Han Fei was thinking, "I've already become a fish, and the vision of a fish is so ugly." Of course, Han Fei was even more uncertain whether these guys had really revealed all the information. For example, it had only been one night, and they could even teleport. Were they serious? Luo Xiaobai asked, "Han Fei, what about you?" Chapter 183. Everyone was staring at Han Fei. Han Fei thought for a moment. He couldn't say that he could enter the soul ocean, could he? This ability seemed a little overboard. So Han Fei said, My little white can look for creatures other than rare creatures in the sea, such as exotic creatures. Last night, I was chasing an exotic creature and somehow ran into Xia Xiaochan. Exotic creatures? Everyone said in unison and looked at Han Fei with glowing eyes. Han Fei smiled bitterly. Don't be too excited. If we're discovered by exotic creatures, they will hide and it will be difficult to find us again. Moreover, these creatures have extremely fast reflexes and escape abilities, making them very difficult to catch. Zhang Xuanyu said excitedly. What's so difficult about it? There are 5 of us. As long as we can locate it, we won't have to worry about not being able to catch it. Xia Xiaochan was eager to try. I can teleport. As long as I can get within 100 meters of it, I can catch it. Han Fei was taken aback. That seemed to be the case. Wasn't Xia Xiaochan's ability too terrifying? Teleportation, this was simply a godly skill. Luo Xiaobai said, I can release paralysis toxins around. Luren Kuang raised his hand. I can. Zhang Xuanyu said disdainfully, no, you can't. Your spiritual essence clam can change color. What's the use of that? I still have to do it. I can control the weakest fish in the level 2 fishery and help with observation. Luren Kuang. Everyone chimed in. Immediately, everyone looked at Han Fei again. Xia Xiaochan's eyes were fiery. Yes, big brother, our contractual spiritual beasts depend on you. Han Fei shivered. Be normal. Humph. Han Fei forced a smile. Shall we go to the level 3 fishery? Don't you feel that it's a bit of a loss for you to contract a contractual spiritual beast from the level 2 fishery? Luo Xiaobai shook her head. Exotic contractual spiritual beasts can grow with their masters and may not be weaker than the exotic creatures in the level 3 fishery. Xia Xiaochan echoed. This kind of creature is not restricted to fisheries. Exotic species were on the same level. They might be an accident in the level 2 fishery, or they were not strong enough to go to the level 3 fishery, or there were other reasons. But they are definitely not common creatures in the level 2 fishery. Soon, everyone reached an agreement and looked at Han Fei expectantly. Okay, I wasn't sure if Xiaobai could find it. Let me try. Luo Xiaobai hesitated and said, Can you change its name? Han Fei ignored Luo Xiaobai and touched Little White's head. Little White, can you find another creature like the golden snitch yesterday? Let's look for it. Little White dived into the water and spun around in confusion. In the end, he seemed a little uncertain as he chose a direction. The others did not know if Little White was really reliable. They only knew that Little White had started to lead the way and was very happy. They were all chatting about what kind of exotic creatures they could get their hands on. Lu Rinquang shouted, I want a turtle. I want an exotic turtle. In this way, my defense power will definitely catch up with Han Fei. Zhang Xuanyu revealed a yearning look. I want a fast one. The faster the better. Who cares what it is? Luo Xiaobai said, I need someone who can attack and defend so that I can make up for my shortcomings as a manipulator. Xia Xiaochan said, I want a very strong attack power, very strong. Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. You aren't weak now, right? Few great fishing masters can block your dagger. Xia Xiaochan looked at Han Fei. No, he can block it. I want to stab him. Han Fei was speechless. No, it seems that exotic creatures are already in your bag. And you, Xia Xiaochan, can you stop thinking about stabbing me every day? Did I provoke you? Xia Xiaochan replied, Yes, I did. Han Fei. Suddenly Luo Xiaobai said, Well, let's learn the voice transmission technique. Everyone. Luo Xiaobai explained, Before we came, my teacher guessed that we would go into the water, so he prepared a small technique for me that can allow us to transmit voice in the water. Han Fei was surprised. Is there such a thing? Han Fei was speechless. Before, when he went into the sea, he was either alone or gesticulated with others. But now it was so advanced. You could transmit voice. How? The others were also dumbfounded. It seemed that they had heard this thing for the first time. Luo Xiaobai continued. I thought we wouldn't go into the sea so soon, but I didn't expect that only one day. With that said, Luo Xiaobai took out a jade slip. Transmitting voice is actually very simple. You just need to practice it a little. Everyone took the jade slip suspiciously. When they saw the so-called voice transmission technique, They all looked strange. When Han Fei took the jade slip, he also looked strange. The so-called voice transmission technique was actually a kind of energy fluctuation produced by the combination of spiritual power and spiritual energy. Amazingly, it was simple to operate but very demanding. Spiritual power was something that no one could predict. However, it was basically impossible for a fisher or fishing master to transmit voice, mainly because their spiritual power was not up to the standard. But a great fishing master was different. By combining spiritual power and spiritual energy, he could easily form a vibration in the other party's mind. Although Han Fei didn't find out the principle, he tried it and called Xia Xiaochan a few times, "Hey, hey, hey." Xia Xiaochan slapped Han Fei. "Do you want to die?" "What do you mean, hey?" Han Fei was helpless. "Didn't I do an experiment?" Xia Xiaochan asked. "Why do you all want me to do experiments? There are 3 voices in my head." Everyone. Then 2 voices appeared in Han Fei's head. Luren Kuang said, "I want to eat barbecue." Zhang Xuanyu asked, "Are you 2 in love?" Han Fei said with a black face, "Okay, no need to try. It's very simple and consumes very little energy." The 5 of them all looked weird. No one knew what they were talking about. Anyway, the scene was very embarrassing. Han Fei thought that maybe he was the only one who called them, "Hey, hey, hey." The others were just as Zhang Xuanyu had asked. They didn't know what they were talking about. Han Fei suddenly looked at Zhang Xuanyu. "What did you do to Hu Karen from the First Academy? I heard that you abducted the little girl for a night." Zhang Xuanyu replied, "Same here. I heard that you abducted He Xiaoyu. What did you do?" Han Fei replied, "I just said a few words to He Xiaoyu. You didn't come back at all." Zhang Xuanyu said, "Let me tell you, don't cheat on me. Otherwise, we can't be brothers." Han Fei and Zhang Xuanyu looked at each other, as if they were flirting. Xia Xiaochan asked, "Are you 2 secretly chatting? What are you talking about?" Han Fei snorted. "No, what do I have to talk about with him? If I want to talk, I'll talk to you." Zhang Xuanyu scoffed. "I can't. I was just in a trance." Little White swam for more than an hour and traveled nearly 1,000 kilometers. During this period, Han Fei received voice transmissions from the 4 people from time to time, asking all kinds of strange questions. Looking at the reactions of the others, they seemed to be chatting with great interest. It was even more convenient than making a phone call. Suddenly, Little White stopped. Han Fei shouted, "Stop chatting. I found it." Everyone was shocked and all stuck their heads out of the boat. Han Fei said, "You can't just cast the fishing rod. That's how I scared away a golden snitch yesterday." Zhang Xuanyu said, "Don't worry. Let me do it. Cast the rod 3 meters and catch a small fish." Luo Xiaobai immediately waved the fishing rod, and after 10 minutes, a yellow-boned fish was caught. Yellow-boned fish, like striped fish, was a common fish in the level 2 fishery. It got its name because its bones were extremely hard and could be made into weapons. Zhang Xuanyu's face changed slightly, and his eyes became dull. The next moment, the yellow-boned fish jumped and stared at Han Fei and the others. Zhang Xuanyu took a breath and said, "It's so ugly. Okay, throw it down." "Everyone." Han Fei chuckled. After a while, when everyone was nervous and excited, Zhang Xuanyu suddenly said, "It's a turtle silver. Oh no, it's stabbed with many knives, too many to count." Luren Kuang immediately patted his thigh. Mine. Ha ha, the first one is mine." Everyone was not disappointed because the first exotic creature was Luren Kuang's, but even more delighted. Since Little White could really find it, it was only a matter of time before they continued to find others. Chapter 184. Now that he knew it was a tortoise, he had achieved his goal. Han Fei hurriedly said, "Don't let your yellow croaker bones get too close. Stay away." Luo Xiaobai asked, "How deep is it?" Zhang Xuanyu said, "About 200 meters underwater, lying on a stone platform in the middle of a coral bush." Luo Xiaobai said, "I'll enter the water first and spread paralysis toxins within 100 meters. Expand a little bit. We don't understand this turtle. What if it's a godly speed tortoise and runs away in a flash? What should we do?" Everyone was speechless. How could there be so many creatures with such strange speed? Zhang Xuanyu said, "Wait, that turtle found me. Holy shit, he can still discover me from dozens of meters away. I'll swim away now. Luo Xiaobai paused. And should I go or not? This turtle seems to be very smart. Can you spread poison on the water? Luo Xiaobai shook her head. No, maybe Zhang Xuanyu will go down with me. My vines will go from the bottom of the sea. No, as soon as your vines come out, the other creatures nearby will be alarmed. There's no reason this big turtle wouldn't be alarmed. Luren Kuang was anxious. Why don't we go up and fight them? Zhang Xuanyu suggested. It seems to work. At most, we can surround them from 5 directions. Han Fei thought for a while. He didn't have any experience, so he nodded and said, to be on the safe side, let's approach from 500 meters away. Zhang Xuanyu, keep an eye on him from a distance. We have to be fast. Otherwise, just the fishes and prawns in the sea will be very troublesome. Xia Xiaochan said, I can approach you in stealth mode and wait for you 100 meters away. If it wants to escape, I can teleport over. Is there no limit to your teleportation? Xia Xiaochan muttered. I need to pause for a breath. Everyone was speechless. Teleportation was already very freakish, but you managed to do it in a single breath? Without hesitation, everyone used their own methods to run 500 meters away. Luo Xiaobai used vines. Zhang Xuanyu used waves. Xia Xiaochan turned invisible. Han Fei could step on air, and Luren Kuang stood on the saber. As soon as Han Fei entered the water, a string fish entangled him. Han Fei asked Little Black to bite it to death, and he dodged the attacking fish with various postures. Han Fei sent a voice transmission to Luren Kuang. Fortunately, the distance was not too far. Although it was a bit intermittent, it could still be transmitted. Have we reached the bottom of the sea? Luren Kuang said, yes, but a large group of demonic fish are attacking me. Kill them quickly. On the other side, Xia Xiaochan sent a voice transmission. Ready. Luo Xiaobai said, sprint in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Buzz. Han Fei immediately activated the Wandering Dragon Art. As soon as Luren Kuang launched torrents of knives and swords, the surrounding demonic fish were shattered. Zhang Xuanyu summoned the bloodthirsty shark and began a sprint. Luo Xiaobai was like a witch in the sea, supported by thousands of vines, moving forward quickly. Han Fei had just swum nearly 200 meters, and the others were only about 300 meters. Suddenly, Xia Xiaochan said to him via voice transmission, Little White, in your direction. It found out and wanted to run. At this moment, everyone was extremely anxious and used their fastest speed. Battle techniques and whatnot, he used all of them. Any demonic fish that stood in his way were all killed. Luo Xiaobai said in surprise, he's as fast as me. I can block him. Han Fei and the others only felt violent spiritual energy fluctuations erupting hundreds of meters away. Then, the water was filled with broken vines. Roar, dragon roar? Han Fei was shocked. Xia Xiaochan even used the giant arowana against the turtle. In just a dozen seconds, a big battle seemed to have broken out over there. Han Fei saw not only vines in the water, but also countless blades. These blades seemed to be spiritual and were stirring in the water. Luo Xiaobai said anxiously, Come on, I can't block it anymore. Han Fei burst out with all his strength and looked closer, only to see thousands of blades revolving around this big turtle. Luo Xiaobai's vines were almost swept away. At this moment, blood was flowing from the corner of her mouth, and she was constantly producing vines to block. Little Black, bite it. Clank, clank, clank. Han Fei rushed over, and dozens of blades flew at him, making clanking sounds. Torrents of swords and knives. Luren Kuang was anxious and used torrents of swords and knives from a distance of 200 meters. When Han Fei was within 100 meters of the big turtle, he found that Xia Xiaochan was surrounded by countless blades. It was a big turtle nearly 5 meters long. A string of data flashed in Han Fei's eyes. Name 1,000-blade turtle introduction carries 1,000 blades and evolves with the growth of the turtle body. Currently, each blade is an ultra-quality immortal weapon. Level 28 quality, exotic, contains spiritual energy greater than 662 points, edible effect, your vitality will soar after eating it, collectible turtle blades, turtle shells, and turtle cores, absorbable, xiaobai, back off. Let me do it. The thousand-blade turtle had obviously discovered Han Fei and seemed to feel Han Fei's threat. At this moment, hundreds of blades rushed at Han Fei crazily. Clank, 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 water-stirring seal. A big seal slapped down in the water, and blades flew everywhere. Seeing that Han Fei was close, the thousand-blade turtle seemed to find that Han Fei was difficult to deal with and immediately chose to escape. But in that direction, Zhang Xuanyu had already rushed over. Soul Strike. 7-layered waves in furious sea. On the other side, Lu Rinquang's torrents of swords and knives also rushed over crazily. In the sea, blades and swords clashed. Bam! Han Fei quickly smashed the turtle shell with a seal. Clang! The violent metal knocking sound almost exploded the heads of the people in the water. The thousand-blade turtle was smashed away and smashed a coral bush. The various fish, crabs, and other creatures inside didn't even have time to escape and were instantly minced by the thousands of blades. What shocked Han Fei was that the thousand-blade turtle could still run away after being hit by him. However, at this time, Zhang Xuanyu's 7-layered sticks in furious sea arrived. The 7 sticks smashed quickly. After the 7th blow, Zhang Xuanyu himself was bounced back. Taking this opportunity, Han Fei smashed the turtle again. Clang! Finally, the thousands of blades seemed to have lost control. Some returned to the turtle shell, and some scattered everywhere. Luo Xiaobai's vines flew over and tied the thousand-blade turtle up. After a moment, on the fishing boat, a group of people sat on the deck. Zhang Xuanyu gasped, "This turtle is too powerful." My 7-layered waves in furious sea bounced back at me. It was so powerful that I almost couldn't control it. Han Fei, heal me. Not only Xia Xiaochan, but Luo Xiaobai was also the most seriously injured, with at least dozens of wounds on her body. 2 rays of light shone. Lu Rinquang looked at the thousand-blade turtle, as if seeing his little lover. At this moment, a weird laughter came from his mouth. "Ha ha ha, baby, here I come." The thousand-blade turtle was stunned by the water-stirring seal. Lu Rinquang cut his flesh and muttered. After a while, when the thousand-blade turtle woke up, it struggled and roared, but then found that something was wrong and an invisible force controlled it. Lu Rinquang laughed. "Ha ha, the thousand-blade turtle. Too strong, too strong." Lu Rinquang was overjoyed, and the others all looked envious. This turtle was really strong. The 5 of them almost couldn't catch it. Its strength could be imagined. After a while, when the thousand-blade turtle accepted this fact, Luo Xiaobai loosened the vines. Lu Rinquang put into the water and muttered, "Go pick up your knives. Don't lose any of them, understand?" Xia Xiaochan jumped up and down. "Let's go find the next one." Han Fei looked at Little White. However, Little White wandered in the water for a long time, ran to Han Fei, and gave him a mouthful of spiritual energy. Xia Xiaochan asked, "What does Little White mean?" Han Fei said helplessly, "I haven't found it yet. Or let's change places first. There shouldn't be 2 exotic creatures in this small area." Luo Xiaobai agreed. "Yes, we're in thousands of miles away just for this thousand-blade turtle. Maybe exotic creatures are territorial." Zhang Xuanyu suggested, "I'll control the fishing boat. Who will point in a direction?" Xia Xiaochan suggested south. Chapter 185. They floated on the sea for a full 6 days. On the 4th day, Zhang Xuanyu got his speed-type exotic contractual spiritual beast, the golden water silkworm, as he wished. Its characteristic was its speed. It was not just any kind of speed. It was a bug that was even faster than the golden flying bandit. Of course, it might be because its speed was so strong that it had no other advantages except for its speed. Of course, not everyone got the exotic contractual spiritual beast that they wanted. Luo Xiaobai got an invisible jellyfish. She wanted to give it to Xia Xiaochan. However, Xia Xiaochan said that she could be invisible and didn't need it. So Luo Xiaobai took it herself. A manipulator who knew how to turn invisible was an extremely frightening thing. In battle, you could only see her controlling, but you couldn't find her. Wasn't it terrifying? Xia Xiaochan was not so lucky. She hadn't met a suitable exotic creature yet. Xia Xiaochan held Little White and said, Little White, find me one too. You found them. Don't leave me behind. Pop. Little White kissed Xia Xiaochan. Xia Xiaochan giggled. Oh, good girl. When you find my exotic contractual spiritual beast, I'll kiss you. Han Fei was speechless. Oh, Little White is female. Xia Xiaochan glared at Han Fei. None of your business. Luo Xiaobai suggested again. Han Fei, you really should give a new name. Shall we call it Little White? Luo Xiaobai. Just when they were joking, Little White suddenly jumped into the water and swam to the north. Xia Xiaochan immediately shouted at Zhang Xuanyu. Hurry up. Little White, I found it. I found it. They had cooperated well these days. As long as they found it, they could take it. Seeing this, a smile appeared on everyone's faces. No one in the entire Blue Sea town was as lucky as they were. All of them had exotic contractual spiritual beasts. How many people would envy them? More than an hour later, they came to a barren sea. Xia Xiaochan was still excited. Luo Xiaobai frowned. No, wait a minute. We seem to be out of the level 2 fishery. Hearing this, everyone quickly gathered around. Luo Xiaobai pointed at the map and said, according to the map, we were at the edge of the level 2 fishery just now. But according to the speed of the fishing boat, I'm afraid we've gone another 1,500 kilometers. There's no record of this place. Lurin Kwong was eating barbecue and said casually, even if it happens, it doesn't matter. In any case, they weren't too far away. Wasn't the level 2 fishery a mixed area? You have to go to the level 3 fishery via the teleportation array. Luo Xiaobai shook her head. No, it's true that the area outside the level 2 fishery is a mixed area. However, outside the level 2 fishery was a mixed area that had hardly been explored. In the past few days, we've gone out too far. 6 whole days, although we took a few detours, the overall direction was always south. Han Fei wondered, why didn't I notice it before? Luo Xiaobai said, I thought we were going east just a little south. However, when I looked at the map just now, I suddenly realized that the position of the sun is not right. We are indeed heading south. Han Fei smiled. Can you estimate how far we have run? Luo Xiaobai frowned. I'm afraid it's more than 20,000 kilometers. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. 20,000 miles? They didn't feel it at all. In the past few days, everyone had been playing with their contractual spiritual beasts. Who cared about the direction? Xia Xiaochan said indifferently. Forget it. Little Xiaobai has found it. Why don't we go down? It's impossible not to go down. Zhang Xuanyu nodded. It's just a mixed area. What are you afraid of? Han Fei didn't care. Let's go down. Even if we reach the level 3 fishery, the 5 of us can explore it together. Not to mention the mixed area next to the level 2 fishery. Luo Xiaobai nodded slightly. Okay, let's catch this one, go back the way we came and study the fishing method that the president mentioned. After a while, Zhang Xuanyu saw through his second vision. It's a shrimp, red, half a meter long. Huh, this shrimp has wings on its back. I guess it will be very fast. Xia Xiaochan nodded. Shrimp? Well, shadow shrimp is also a shrimp. This red shrimp may not be bad. Underwater, they were still surrounded in a circle. However, now they had more helpers. 5 people, 6 spiritual beasts, and 4 contractual spiritual beasts. After several rounds of encirclement, everyone found that exotic creatures were extremely vigilant. Once they started fighting underwater, they would alarm the other party. Anyway, they might as well show all their strength and openly encircle the other party. After a moment, Zhang Xuanyu said, Kwong Kwong, it's going towards you. Be careful. This shrimp is very fast and has a strong dodging ability. On Lurin Kwong's side, thousands of knife shadows were flying. He shouted, no matter how strong its dodging ability is, it can't even dodge the torrents of knives and swords launched by me and the 1,000-blade tortoise. Xia Xiaochan said nervously, Kwong Kwong, what if you kill my contractual spiritual beast? Everyone was not far away. Suddenly, they saw the shrimp draw a strange arc in the water. Wherever the red prawn passed, it would leave a red mark. When they got closer, they found that it was simply a red flame that could still burn in the water. Not far from Lu Kwong, the shrimp flickered like a dancing elf. No matter how dense the knife blades were, it shuttled back and forth, leaving a strange route in the dark sea. Lu Kwong shouted, "No, I can't stop it. This little thing is too good at running." Xia Xiaochan was speechless. "Why are you so fat?" "Chase." The five of them chased it frantically. Fortunately, this little thing was not as fast as they thought. It was more powerful in dodging. They surrounded it, but it ran away. Fortunately, wherever this little thing passed, it would leave a red flame, so they didn't lose it. Han Fei ran in the front and attacked it several times to no avail. Suddenly, he saw a huge trench in front of him, like a cliff in the sea. It was a bit like the shipwreck pit in the ordinary fishery. It was also narrow and seemed to have been cut out by a knife, but this trench was a bit long. Han Fei said, "Attention, it's going down. Below is a very deep trench, but I don't know how deep it is. In addition, there are fewer fish nearby. There are almost no group fish. Be careful." After a while, they all rushed into the trench and chased it all the way to a depth of a kilometer. There were almost no fish around. Luo Xiaobai came back to her senses. "Something is wrong. This place is weird." Zhang Xuanyu said, "I can probably hold on for about a quarter of an hour. I need to breathe." Luo Xiaobai threw a vine over. "Bite it open. There is air in it." Everyone looked at Luo Xiaobai in surprise. Not bad. There were quite a lot of flashy little tricks. Lu Kwong said, "There's a hole below. It ran into the hole. Should we chase it?" Xia Xiaochan said, "Yes, be careful." Everyone rushed into the hole. Suddenly, Han Fei frowned slightly, feeling that something was wrong. Han Fei frowned. "Don't you feel that the temperature in this cave is a bit high?" Luo Xiaobai said, "It is indeed a bit high. Maybe this is the reason why the flame shrimp evolved." Then, after only a few minutes, everyone stopped. They were stunned by the scene in front of them. All kinds of colorful creatures were entangled in this cave. In the second half of the cave, there were no less than 1,000 kinds of creatures. But they were all low-level creatures. Even the sea anemones here were just ordinary sea anemones. And the red shrimp had nowhere to go at this moment and was scurrying around in the innermost part of the cave. Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. "Finally, I've caught you, my contractual spiritual beast." Luo Xiaobai said, "I'll block the way out." The others attack. Xiaochan teleports to catch it. "Something is wrong here. Let's finish it quickly and then leave."